Greetings and salutations, my people. Welcome to the best damn movie-related show on the planet, the John Campea Show. Coming to you from right here on my YouTube channel, brought to you in part by our friends at Mint Mobile. I am, of course, your host, John Campea, and it is an awesome honor and privilege, as it is every day, to have you, our international friends, gather around as we talk about our favorite things in the world: movies, movie news, TV, streaming, and all sorts of good stuff. Joining me, sitting right over here, Mr. Robert Meyer Burnett. Robert, how you doing today, sir?
Werewolf by Night tonight.
Yeah.
Celebrates Halloween month.
It is
the Marvel way. I
forgot it was coming out. I think it was Taylor, as we were doing the pre-show, brought it up that, yeah, Werewolf by Night is actually coming out tonight at midnight on Disney Plus. So I'm going to the Weird Al premiere tonight.
Beyond Fest.
At Beyond Fest. Then I'm going to have to get home and watch Rings of Power. And that's going to be probably like 11 or 12. And then I'm going to have to watch Werewolf by Night. So it's going to be late night for...
And Hellraiser, John. You got to watch Hellraiser, too.
I might have to hold off on Hellraiser till tomorrow. I mean, Gio's got a long night ahead of himself. So anyway, it's great to have you guys here. And of course, also joining us back there, the champion of the people.
The Rob Beater.
The Rob Beater, Ray Orris. That can be taken the wrong way,
That's
by
harsh,
the way. Yes, Ray
Not
Orris.
That you want to be, though, Ray. You could be the Rob Beater. Happy to allow you to have that title.
Why?
Ray's joining you guys in the live chat today because apparently I hate you. So anyway, Ray, how you doing today?
I'm good. I just realized Andor, after watching the last episode, it's the Yellowstone of the Star Wars universe.
I don't think that's a bad analogy, actually. Sitting right beside him, of course, running the show today, producer Jonathan Voico. Jonathan, how you doing?
I'm doing good.
And of course, most importantly, you guys are here. And here's how today's show is going to go. We're going to start off in the first half of the show with some predetermined topics. And in the second half of the show, we're going to take your live comments and questions. How do we get your live comment and question? Well, number one, you got to be watching live. Number two, that when we get to the end of the main topics, we will announce that we're opening up the super chats. We only leave them open for just a couple of minutes, so be relatively quick. And when we do, that'll be your time to throw in your thoughts, theories, questions, opinions, whatever, and we will spend the second half of the show addressing those things. I want to let you guys know that normally today we would be having an open mic. We've got a lot of stuff going on around the studio today, so we will not be doing an open mic today. Don't worry, open mic will return. And of course, we've got our Rings of Power after show tomorrow, so lots of good stuff coming. Okay, guys, we got a number of things to get to here today, so let's get things started with an off the top, and that is this. You know, probably the most highly anticipated movie of October is not Halloween Ends, but rather Black Adam. And we've got a few things that we're going to be talking about Black Adam today. But one piece of information did come out. We now have an official runtime for Black Adam. And apparently, the runtime for Black Adam is 2 hours and 4 minutes. 2 hours and 4 minutes. Respectable. This comes to us from the folks over at CBR who wrote, the runtime for Warner Brothers' upcoming Black Adam, featuring Dwayne Johnson's long-awaited 8 years and 3 months, since he announced that he was going to be Black Adam. Long-awaited take on the anti-hero has been released. Theaters around the world, including AMC theaters, have listed Black Adam's runtime now that the tickets are available for purchase. The film boasts a length of 2 hours and 4 minutes. This confirms previous reports of that Black Adam would be approximately 125 minutes long. Okay, so in an era right now where people seem to think longer is automatically better, which is simply not true. You know, you'll come into some movies do kind of call for a longer runtime. Some don't. Rob, we're finding out that Black Adam's going to come in at that traditional movie length of right around the 2 hour mark. Do you think this is, I mean, having not seen the film, but just knowing what we know about it, do you think this is an appropriate runtime? Does it seem a little long to you, a little short? What do you think about the runtime they announced?
No, I mean, I think if memory serves, The Empire Strikes Back is 124 minutes long.
Good company.
So I think there's a structure to cinema. There's a structure to movies that has worked for a long time. Traditionally, comedies are somewhere between 90 minutes and 2 hours.
Yep.
And then action films. I mean, the 2 hour format works. From a structural standpoint for a 3-act structure, it works well. I think that's probably exactly where it should be. It's a new character. I mean, I'm not invested enough in Black Panther to sit for Black Adam to sit for Black Panther. I am Black Adam, a 2.5 to 3 hour sit or something. You haven't made me love this character yet. I'll go for your second movie. If you want to give me the Dark Knight of Black Adam movies, I'll sit for 2.5 hours. That'd be good. But now I think this is a perfect length for this movie.
Yeah, and we'll
having not seen it.
Yeah, once we see it, we might come out and say, yeah, that movie feels like it could have used an extra 15 minutes, or we might say the opposite, saying they maybe should have shaved. I was interacted quickly earlier this morning in the live chat. Somebody said, man, I just feel like with this being his origin story, you've got a lot to cover with his origin. It probably needed more time than that. But here's the thing. I've watched a 2-minute trailer, and I feel like I've got a pretty good handle on his origin story in this movie. I mean, but really, like, is this anybody feeling like his background and setting him up coming into this world is going to really take a lot of exposition?
Yeah, no.
You know what? I think we can actually review it now. The movie.
I think we can actually straight up review the movie right now. Let me tell you about Dwayne Johnson's Black Adam. A little underwhelming. No, I listen, I am actually legitimately very excited. Now, I've been very forthright with this. I don't think they've done a good job with the marketing. Dwayne Johnson is doing what Dwayne Johnson does on his social media, but the trailers have been underwhelming. The latest trailer would have been a half decent first trailer. We really haven't learned anything new from the first trailer to the newest one. They haven't done a good job. Now, and that's why when they came out yesterday and we found out that the projections for this opening weekend are 70 to 75 million, I said, listen, if it does hit that, that's a big win for them. So, but I am nonetheless still pretty excited.
I'm kind of shocked because the way the trailers have been working for me, I'm actually more excited.
Really?
The more trailers have come out. So it's been going up for me. I guess
because new TV spots have been dropping and things like that.
I'm very excited for this.
Did you see the new little clip that got put out down in Mexico? Like we've seen the scene where Black Adam's in some kind of cave chamber and a bunch of special forces guy, and he starts throwing them around. Well, in one of the clips that have come out, he whips a guy across the room, but then after a guy goes flying across the room, you see Black Adam just kind of the silhouette of him dropping something, and then the camera goes tight on the floor as a human arm just falls down the floor. I'm like,
ouch.
All right. Okay. I see you, Black Adam. I see you, all 2 hours and 4 minutes of you. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about that? Are you one of those people that just thinks, no, all movies, the longer the better? Do you think that maybe 2 hours might be a little bit too long for something that is as simple in concept, apparently, as Black Adam? Do you think that the 2 hour mark is right about the sweet spot for it? Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. Okay, guys. With that down, let's get to the newest segment here on the John Campea Show, our Mint Mobile hotline question of the day. The good folks at Mint Mobile have helped us set up a hotline where you guys can call in a question. We go through them, and every day we pick one or two, and you can call into the hotline as well. Anytime, 24/7, pick up that phone and dial 951-268-4259, and maybe you'll hear your golden tones on our show as well. So, Jonathan, what is our Mint Mobile hotline question today?
Hey, John, long-time viewer since the Man of Steel review. It's Sebastian from New York. Just wondering what your thoughts are on the chances that Shuri being supposedly revealed in the Black Panther trailer is another misdirect, kind of like Hulk in Infinity War. Maybe they're just trying to throw us off the trail of who's actually Black Panther. What are your thoughts on that?
All right, thanks a lot for sending that in. And listen, man, you might be right on the money. Now, here's the thing. We know, before Infinity War, but especially with Infinity War, right? Marvel puts out that trailer, Infinity War. You see all the major Avengers running side by side in the fields of Wakanda, and one of them is Hulk running into battle. Well, of course, we find out that's not in the movie. It was a total misdirect because Hulk really doesn't make a real appearance after the opening of the film. We have also seen them doing some misdirect with Infinity War. There you go. There's a shot right there. Hey, is that actually from our...
I feel like that's from our
documentary. Is that actually the
documentary.
graphic from our documentary? at any rate. So then, of course, once you get into Endgame, there's a shot of Cap, holding off the blow of Thanos. and get a close-up shot of the gauntlet, and there's missing Infinity Stones. Of course, when we watched the movie, the Infinity Stones were in there. Hell, even before that, Captain America Civil War. They showed the scenes in the trailers of the two sides running at each other, but they digitally edited out Spider-Man in the trailers. When we saw the movie, he's in the trailer. So we have seen Marvel master the art of misdirect. So,
Lying.
Or yeah, if you want to be more technical.
Lying.
Lying liars. Why must you turn this into a house of lies? Like so many lies. But I mean, the art of the misdirect, they've seemed to master with their trailers. So you're asking the question. Look, the trailers seem to make it pretty clear. Shuri is Black Panther. Hell, there's even the shot in the last trailer of Shuri at the funeral. She's got a certain pattern of the white dots around her eyes and over her forehead. And then when we see the poster and a close-up of the new Black Panther mask, it's the exact same white dot pattern. They've got her front and center. Pretty clear she's becoming Black. Ooh, we've seen Lego toys. Well, what if that in and of itself is a misdirect? They seem to be working pretty hard to keep the identity of Black Panther a secret. Would they really come out and make it so obvious? Well, to many, like me, I thought it is pretty clear. They're making Shuri Black Panther. I don't know that she's going to be Black Panther the whole movie. I've speculated on the show that I believe maybe she dies. Multiple people in this movie will wear the Black Panther outfit. And this could very well be right near the beginning of the movie. That maybe Shuri has, against her own mother's wishes, made her own Black Panther suit, and maybe later she isn't. I don't know.
Pretty cool suit, though.
It is a pretty cool suit. Not a fan of the gold accents, but whatever. Other than that, the design is very good. Well, here's the thing. In asking, could that all be a misdirect? The cast of Black Panther 2 may have just given a lot of credibility to that theory that maybe this is a big misdirect. Because here's what's happening. The Black Panther cast did this big interview for, I don't know how to pronounce it. Is it Elle magazine? ELLE?
Oh, yeah.
It's a women's fashion magazine,
Elle
right?
magazine.
Elle magazine. And this comes to us from the folks at the Direct. Speaking to Elle magazine, Lupita Nyong'o, who plays Nakia, reacted to the rampant speculation that Shuri will take on the mantle of the Black Panther. Lupita Nyong'o said, "We love the speculation." And then her co-star, Danny Guerrera, said, "They're not getting it all right. No, they haven't guessed it at all." Listen again to what Okoye says. They're not getting it all right. No, they haven't guessed it at all. Oh, sorry. She said they're not getting it all right. And then Nyong'o followed up. Lupita followed up by saying, no, they haven't guessed it at all. All right.
There is another.
No, it is another. Okay, Yoda. So this brings up a couple of interesting options. Let's look at option number one, which is the most likely. Bullshit. It's exactly what it looks like. And now you've got the cast out there going, oh, no, they haven't guessed it. Not at all. Like an Andrew Garfield going around, I don't know what you're talking about. No one's talked to me about being in Spider-Man.
Lying liars.
Full of lies. The lying liars full of lies. And so that is the first option, of course, on the plate. The second option is that it could be, maybe I'm right. When Guerra says they're not getting all of it right, maybe that is kind of a hint that maybe Shuri is Black Panther for a bit. And then maybe Nakia takes up the mantle, or the one who really should be. I mean, Nakia would be my second choice. Maybe the one who really should be picking it up, the mighty M'Baku. Maybe he should be picking up the mantle. I mean, or maybe somebody else entirely. Maybe what is the queen's name again? Is it Ramonda? I keep forgetting.
Ramonda.
Ramonda. Okay. So maybe she herself says, "F this, I'll take care of business." I mean, she's the toughest one there anyway. Maybe she takes up. I mean, I don't know. So that's another. So option number one, total BS. Option number two, Shuri doesn't stay it. Option number three, there really is just somebody else and it just ain't Shuri. And all these promo images and all this stuff like this is all misdirect. And I got to say, I love the fact that there's some uncertainty.
Me too.
Going into Black Panther, which is now only about a month away. So, I mean, if I had to guess right now, I'm going to stay, even after reading these comments, when she says they're not getting all of it right, I say I'm going to stay on track right now. Again, I have no insider information. I may have seen some things of Black Panther, but nothing that has given me the definitive answer to this. So this is all speculation on my part. But I'm going to stay personally with the track here that Shuri will don the Black Panther outfit. We may have already seen it in the trailer, but that she either dies or passes it on or something like that. I think we're going to see multiple people being Black Panther in this. I could be totally wrong in this. I'm not basing this on any solid evidence. This is just my speculation. Anyway, Rob, you know we've been talking about this. You hear the question, could the trailers be a misdirect? Then we read this interview. I don't know. What do you see as the possibilities here?
I think that there's a little... Look, part of the fun of what Marvel does is the misdirects in the trailer. I mean, I wouldn't... They don't spell everything out for us, and it's always fun to go, there's surprises in these Marvel movies, and we never know quite what they are. I mean, hell, maybe they'll reveal Doctor Doom as the new Black Panther. Who knows? You know, you just never know when it comes to things like this. Somebody sent me a Twitter picture with Ryan Gosling as the new Black Panther, which I don't think there's much credibility there, but the picture exists. So I like this. I mean, I like the fact, look, I've made no secret of the fact that of all the MCU Phase 4 movies, this is the one I've been most looking forward to because of there's so many things that I think it needs to address, most of which who is going to follow in the footsteps of T'Challa, and also what is the geopolitical situation. So I can't wait to see this movie. And the more misdirected I am, John, the better off I'll be. Lie to me. Lie. Lying liars lie. Tell me all the lies, because I want to walk into this movie and I want to be surprised.
Okay, so now you've thrown out the possibilities, but now I'm going to put you in the corner. What is the answer? If you had to put your money right now, $5 down on what's it going to be, what's it going to be? I
think you're correct. I think there are going to be multiple people taking up the mantle of Black Panther in this movie. Why? Probably because the situation requires it. And I think it's going to be really interesting to see what occurs. But I think multiple people are going to be the Black Panther. And I'll even go even further. I'll bet you at the end of this movie, it is undecided who is going to be Black Panther going forward.
I just want to point out, Joseph SFL, one of our channel members in the live chat, has just pointed out this is a developing but breaking story. Andrew Garfield has denied that he is the new Black Panther.
Oh, then there you go.
I mean, it's a foregone conclusion now.
Andrew Garfield. And he's a lying liar.
Yes, Andrew Garfield.
He denied he was in No Way Home. He's a lying liar.
I mean, do you remember this? He after the whole movie came out, he actually admitted he lied to his girlfriend. He lied to his family about it. But that,
How will they ever recover?
What's that?
How will they ever recover?
How will they ever get over it? I'm just not sure.
They look at his paycheck.
They'll have to wipe away the tears with the $100 bills. Oh, so sad. So sad. All right. Wakanda Forever. I'm so not comfortable with that. Those of you who watch She-Hulk, you know what we're talking about. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think? Do you think that it's possible that what we've seen in the trailers has been a misdirect? It's a question we ask with just about every Marvel trailer, but none of us have really asked it about this one, and maybe we should be, especially now that we've heard some of the cast members of Black Panther saying, no, you haven't guessed it at all. They lying? They telling the truth? If so, how? What do you guys think about this? Jump down into the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. Okay, guys, with that down, we're going to take a second here and thank one of the sponsors of our video today, our friends over at Amazon Pharmacy. Guys, we want to take a second to thank a sponsor of today's video, Amazon Pharmacy. I don't know about you, but when I need to go to the drugstore, I always seem to wait till the last minute, hoping that they'll be open, or I get stuck in a line, or both. And that's why I love Amazon Pharmacy. Yes, that Amazon. Amazon Pharmacy delivers a better pharmacy experience that delivers directly to your door and works with most insurance plans. Amazon Pharmacy helps you save time, save money, and stay healthy. They have transparent pricing, so you know what you'll pay before you pay it. That is clutch. As an added bonus, Prime members can save up to 80% on their prescriptions. And like I mentioned earlier, Amazon Pharmacy works with most insurance plans. And if you ever have any questions or problems, real pharmacists are always available at Amazon Pharmacy, no matter the time of day or night. A pharmacy that works for your life, with meds delivered to your door. It doesn't get any better than that. Switch to Amazon Pharmacy and save time, save money, and stay healthy. Learn more at amazon.com/Campea. That's amazon.com/Campea. Average savings based on usage and Inside RX data as compared to cash prices. Average savings for all generics are 78%, 37% for select brand medications. Restrictions apply. And thank you to our friends at the Amazon Pharmacy for sponsoring this episode of the John Campea Show. All right, guys, with that down, let's get into our main topics here today. And how do we select our main topics on the John Campea Show? Well, that's easy. You guys come up with our main topics. This is where we need your help. See, when you guys come across a big topic, issue, or story that you guys think we need to have as a main topic on the show, just go anytime, 24/7, over to www.thejohncampeashow.com/contact. Once you guys get there, you're going to see a form. Fill it out with your topic or question. It's 100% free. Hit submit, and then maybe, just maybe, you might see your submission featured as a main topic here on the John Campea Show. With that down, Rob, what's our first main topic today?
Our first main topic comes to us from Robert Natchi. Hi, crew. According to an interview with Deadline, Bond producer Michael G. Wilson said that casting has not started for the new 007, no matter what others tell you. However, in that same interview, he revealed that the next Bond will be older, already a seasoned veteran, not a young rookie as in Casino Royale. What do you think of his comments, and do you think this actually means they already have their pick in mind? Thanks so much.
All right, thanks a lot for sending that in, Robert. And look, first thing I'll say is this. I do not believe, there's two things. I don't think they have their new James Bond, but I don't believe they haven't started thinking about it. And I don't believe they haven't started putting together a list of names. That I don't believe at all. You're simply being negligent in your responsibilities. They're at least done that. 100% they have. Now, the question about who is the next James Bond seems to always be the number one question in Hollywood. You know, who's the next James Bond, as much as who's the next Batman, always seems to be the big question. But they do seem to narrow it down a little bit for us here, and I do believe it when they say it. Now, this is what he said specifically. This, of course, is Bond producer Michael G. Wilson, who said the following. We've tried looking at younger people in the past. Sorry, Tom Holland. But trying to visualize it doesn't work. Remember, Bond's already a veteran. He's had some experience. He's a person who has been through the wars, so to speak. He's probably been in the SAS or something. He isn't some kid out of high school that you can bring in and start off. Again, I think he's really talking directly about the Tom Holland conversation. Anyway, that's why it works for a 30-something. All right. If this is accurate, it does kind of rule out certain names that have come up as far as going for the mostly younger kind of lean on it. But it also seems to disqualify some other big names that have been out there. Idris Elba, for example. Taylor, if you can look up how old Idris Elba is, I know he's over 40. So, Idris Elba's been a big name, but he's out. How old is he?
50.
He's 50. So that probably rules out Idris Elba, even though he would have been a pretty good one. It does, I'm just going to throw this out there. It technically means my man Henry Cavill is still in the running, because at 39, Henry Cavill is a 30-something.
Yep.
And they may or not be rigid with that definition, by the way, too. But listen, I got to say, I like this philosophy, because I am not interested in seeing, a young James Reginald Bond. I know that's not his real middle name. I'm not interested in seeing a young James.
I like that you gave him the name Reginald, though.
Everybody in school calls him Reggie. So yeah. I don't like a young Reggie, fresh into the academy going, I can't wait to be a spy, Mum. I don't. That was a horrible British accent, by the way.
You're a
never
spy,
do that again.
Reggie.
I will never do that again. But
Crikey.
I don't want that. I want to see Bond at the height of his Bondness. Right? When I turn on a Bond film, I want to see James Bond at the height of his powers. So I like the idea of a 30-something. Plus, I get it. The one thing we've said about Idris Elba and others that have kind of been in the same boat as him is like, would he make a pretty badass Bond? Sure. Can he be Bond for 15 years? Probably not. So going for somebody a bit younger than that, somebody in the 30s, because Daniel Craig has proved you can be Bond into your mid-50s. So I like this philosophy. I don't believe they have their Bond yet, but I do believe he's lying and saying they haven't started putting together lists, because you damn well know they have.
Sure.
But anyway, Rob, as the big James Bond aficionado in the room, what do you think about this apparent philosophy they're taking is they're looking for a 30-something. Somebody who's always got some experience and been through some of the wars. How do you feel about that?
I think that's exactly what they should do. I mean, what Michael Wilson is saying is perfectly reasonable to me. And, somebody in their mid-30s, that's a 15-year stretch. They've talked about they want to have Bond. He'll be 50. Let's just go at 35. You've got at least 15 years to make Bond movies. And I think the new Bond, they leaned into continuity with Daniel Craig. I think the new Bond needs to concentrate more on a Mission Impossible.
I agree.
Classic Bond vibe where it's a mission per movie, whatever. So each film
and
kind
honestly, continuity schmontinuity,
yeah,
as far as I'm concerned.
Standalone movies, single missions, in and out. And
it's like my dating life. Sorry. Sorry, please continue.
No, I just think that's look. I would. Yesterday, obviously, was James Bond's 60th birthday on film,
right? Yeah.
And all of the movies dropped in UHD on Amazon, and I was going through and sampling some of my favorite Bonds just to see what they look like. They look great, by the way. And I just realized how much I missed. I think the continuity hampered the Daniel Craig Bond movies because it always seemed tacked on. It didn't seem like they had a story from the very beginning mapped out. And I missed those standalone Bond films. I missed, at the end, you really felt satisfied because it was over.
Yeah.
And somebody you'd have like the prime minister saying, "My God, what's Bond doing?" I think he's attempting re-entry.
That was a better accent than mine. Much better than mine.
I mean, like at the end of Moonraker, and then
I'm sorry, but the best ending of any Bond movie, and it's one of the worst Bond movies, but it's the Pierce Brosnan with what's her name?
World Is Not Enough. Christmas Jones.
And what's the name of the actress?
Denise Richards.
Denise Richards, who literally plays a nuclear scientist named Dr. Christmas.
Dr. Christmas Jones.
And the movie ends with some, whether it's a Acapulco or something like that, and the camera pans inside, and they've just finished having sex. They're laying in bed, and Pierce Brosnan rolls over and says, "And I always thought Christmas only came once a year." I'm just like, okay. And I'm like,
actually, that movie's not bad, but that ending is terrible.
That what you talking about? That's the greatest James Bond ending ever.
There is some continuity, like the Connery stuff. There was a slight continuity with.
There was some, yeah,
but
little
like one didn't lead to the next. They were into. I know what you mean.
I mean, Honor Majesty's Secret Service leads directly into Diamonds Forever. Two different people play Bond. So there are certain actors that came back. Like M and.
But they could be like I know what you mean. They could still be standalone films.
Yeah.
You take them on their own.
Like I would like to see Ben Whishaw continue to play Q.
Yeah.
I mean, and look, Dame Judi Dench played M in both the
across
Brosnan
multiple.
era. Yeah,
I mean, why not? We had the same Q for decades.
Yeah, so I would love to see because I loved him as Q.
Yeah,
and
I thought he was a very interesting Q.
Very, yeah.
And Ray Fiennes
as M, yes.
As M, yes. I mean, yeah. I mean, you just but wait, James Bond died in the last. You don't. Who cares? You literally just start the movie. Hello, Bond, and you just ignore it because it's a standalone movie. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about that? They're saying they're going to be looking for 30-somethings, not too young, probably not too old, but somewhere in that neighborhood. I personally feel like it's the right approach. Rob does too. How do you guys feel about it? Does it narrow down your list about who you think might be the next James Bond? Whatever you guys think, jump down into the comment section below and leave those thoughts there. All right, guys. With that down, let's get into main topic number 2. Rob, what's our second main topic today?
John, our second main topic comes from Xandersaurus. Hello, John and everyone on the show. Jason Blum has tweeted that the Five Nights at Freddy's movie production date will be next year on February 23rd, 2023, along with the Jim Henson Creature Shop, and announced the director is Emma Tammy, who's best known for her Hulu original Blood Moon in the Wind. I've never seen her project works. However, I love to know if you guys have seen her movie projects and if she's a good film director choice for Friday Nights at Freddy's or Friday Night Freddy's.
Five Nights at Freddy's.
Five Nights at Freddy's. Did I say Friday Nights? Thanks, and be careful. The animatronics do get a bit quirky at night. That is a Five Nights at Freddy joke for those that know.
I see what you did there. All right, so this is exciting. There's not a lot of horror films that I get super excited about. There's also not a lot of video game based movies that I get excited about. Last of Us is an exception. Oh, that's a series. Still,
My God, does that look good? Too.
it looks so good. But Five Nights at Freddy's is an exception for both. It is the only video game I have ever played, and it was a mobile game, but it's the only game I've ever played that actually gave me the creeps. I've never felt remotely fear or creepy or whatever in any video game I've ever played.
Why do you think that is? Why did it make you?
Probably
Why
because
did it
there's such
creep
a
you out?
disconnect. Like I'm always just constantly aware this is a game. I'm playing a game here. Like this isn't even a movie. It's just a game I'm playing.
Yeah.
But I still remember the first time I played Five Nights at Freddy's. I was laying in bed one night and was already asleep. I'm like, oh, yeah, everybody's talking about Five Nights at Freddy's. I'll download it here quick. And I was on my Android phone at the time, and I'll give this a shot. And I started thinking there were shadows moving in the corners of my room, man. Like I just, it legitimately made me feel really, really creeped out. And the concept of it is such a fun idea. Whenever you take something that is supposed to have childhood innocence to it and turning into something horrific, there's something great about that, right? There's great potential there. And so Chris Columbus, I remember we were talking about, he was attached to direct this for a long time, but I guess for whatever reason that fell apart. Listen, I'll tell you right now, I do not know this director's work. I'm not familiar with it.
Isn't the movie that she directed, isn't Kate Hudson in it?
I'm honestly not sure.
I've seen I think I've seen the trailer for it. It looks really good. It's about a little girl with superpowers and she escapes from some asylum or something and something like that. It looks good.
I can believe it, but yeah, I'm just not familiar with it. But listen, this comes to us from the folks over at Deadline who wrote the following. Given all that IP, it's understandable why Blumhouse, which has a long track record of success with genre franchises, would stick with a film that, 7 years ago, was set to be directed by Gil Keenan from Monster House, then went to Blumhouse in 2017 with Chris Columbus tapped to direct in 2018, and now Tammy in the driver's seat with a start date in sight. Jason Blum said the following, Five Nights at Freddy's is more consistently asked about than any other film I've ever worked on, and I'm thrilled to confirm that it's finally happening. With Emma Tammy at the helm, we're committed to making Scott's vision of the movie come to life. Rest assured, it will be and is worth the wait, said Jason Blum, Blumhouse CEO and founder. So we did a story a couple of weeks ago where some photos came out of the Henson Creature Shop that they were literally building, and we could tell those are Five Nights at Freddy things.
And they've shown more pictures.
More have come out. And that was exciting just in and of itself. Hearing Jason now come out and say, yes, we are fine. Because we've been waiting for years for this. Like literally about 5 years since we were talking about this. And to have it now finally coming into fruition, I'm very excited about this. Blumhouse is the right company to bring this thing to life.
How great is that, by the way?
Working with the Henson Company. I mean, this has got magic. And look, it might be terrible. It might end up being really bad. But right now, this has got magic written all over it. I'm very, very excited about it. Rob, you hear about these developments. What do you think?
I think it's going to be great. I mean, the thing about Five Nights at Freddy's is, I mean, come on,
This
dude.
chicken man gets me every time.
What kid would want to go to this place?
Oh,
Freddy
wow.
Fazbear's.
Again, though, this more than anything, real horror relies on tone.
Yeah.
And like you said, this is going to skirt the knife's edge on tone. You're going to have to get this right because this could be either epic and classic, like one for the ages, or not work at all.
You know what? It reminds me of what I think it should be. I think of something like Shaun of the Dead, because Shaun of the Dead was a legitimately solid horror film and a legitimately solid comedy.
Yep.
And that is the wonderful line that Five Nights at Freddy, because that game is really funny too at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, the same's true of the original Scream.
Yeah,
the original
yeah.
Scream, I think, is a terrific horror film, especially the reveal, and yet at the same time, it's a teen comedy. It's got a lot of spoof stuff in it, but Five Nights at Freddy's, man, that is going to be tough to do.
Yeah,
I mean,
it will
from a
be.
directorial standpoint.
By the way, a day in the live chat is saying Five Nights at Bob Chapek's. There we go. There's a horror film for you.
It's a slasher.
It's a slasher.
Hey, I'd like to direct everybody's attention to after the show, of course, the Five Nights at Freddy's 4 Let's Play on the React channel that I edited. You might want to.
Oh, there you go.
Some jump scares.
You have to give us a link to that one.
I will.
Put that in the description below. All right, guys. Question is for you. What do you think about this? Are you excited about Five Nights at Freddy's? I'll tell you straight up. I really am. I'm not often really excited for an upcoming horror or video game adaptation, but I really am for this one. What do you guys think? Jump down to the comment section below and leave your thoughts there. All right, guys. With that down, Let's move into main topic number 3. Rob, what is our third main topic today?
Our third main topic comes to us from Grady M. Hey, John and team. So I read a story that Ezra Miller's The Flash movie is now completed and locked. I must have missed something because I've been under the impression that the film has been done for a while. Didn't they finish shooting the movie over a year ago? Do you think the Miller drama caused delays and maybe different edits? What do you think, and where is your anticipation level for the movie right now? Thanks.
All right, thanks for sending that in, Grady. You know, that's a great question. I mean, we really have it in the midst of all the drama, the date changes, the Ezra Miller soap opera that never seems to stop. We've just never really stopped to ask ourselves the questions, where's our anticipation level like for this movie at this point? But let's talk about this. Yes, there is now picture lock or the edit lock on the film. The film is now what it's going to be. The final edit is done. This comes to us from the folks at CBR, who says, Warner Brothers' long-awaited The Flash, featuring actor Ezra Miller reprising their Justice League role, is very near completion, though there is still some work to be done before it's ready for theatrical release. As reported by the Flash Film News, the final edit of The Flash has been complete and it's now locked. All that is left now is to finish up some VFX work, some sound mixing and post-production. Progress on The Flash had been uncertain since the film got its first teaser trailer at DC Fandom back in 2021, while the film was still in production. Filming wrapped in October of that year, but no new clips or teasers have been released. Though it's worth keeping in mind that the upcoming film is still some time away from its premiere date, because I think the movie's still 8 months out. It comes out summer of 2023. It's still a ways out. And you're right. Reading the headline that I did going around that, the Flash has now got edit lock. It's now edited. The film, what happens in the film is now set in stone. That's what it is. Now they're just putting in the final touches on VFX, some sound production, things like that. But the edit's done. Okay, we got an edit. But you're right. I think a lot of times, a lot of us were just under the assumption that the edit was probably done a long time ago. And the fact that it's taken this long for them to get to edit lock, it legitimately brings up some questions. Does it mean that at some point they said, whoa, before we do anything else, we got to figure out this Ezra stuff? Did they start down one path of an edit and then change directions in an edit? Whatever the reasons are, it's done now. So the edit is locked. The movie as it's going to be is now ready to go, but it's not a completed thing yet. They still got to get the post-production done. All right. Where does this leave my anticipation level? I'd be lying to you, and I wouldn't be human if I didn't tell you that the Ezra Miller drama has affected my outlook on the film. Of course it has. Now, when we hear the words The Flash, my mind, instead of going to a hopefully fun, exciting, franchise-invigorating movie coming out in the summer, my mind instead, when we hear The Flash, immediately goes to someone grabbing a girl by the throat and taking her down outside of a nightclub.
Yeesh.
I mean, it's unfortunate. And plus, all the other drama going on. And that is unfortunate. However, I have heard nothing but good things about the film. Director Andy Muschietti, from everything that I have heard, has done a terrific job putting together a terrific movie. And all I, as a film fan, can ask for is when I walk into a theater and the lights go down and heartbreak feels good in a place like this, that the movie that gets played in front of me is a good movie. And on that level, I'll be honest with you, I'm excited to see the film. I'm excited to see the film. Notwithstanding all the drama, everything else that is surrounded, for the film itself, the work of Andy Muschietti, I am excited to see Andy Muschietti's film. Of course, there's still baggage. There's still all that kind of stuff. And listen, part of me is just excited to see the movie because I'm excited for it to be in our rearview mirror. I'm excited to see it because I've heard it's great, but I'm also excited for this whole Flash drama to be put behind us. I'm excited to hear that official announcement that comes out 4 months after the Flash movie does, that Ezra Miller and Warner Brothers have parted ways over scheduling conflicts, which is exactly what they're going to say. And then we can put that behind us, get the whole Ezra Miller drama behind us. They can cast a new Flash, whatever. So I'm excited for this movie for several reasons. One, for the movie itself, because I've heard Andy's done a great job. Two, because I'm just looking forward to getting the whole Ezra Miller stuff behind us and we can move forward. Anyway, Rob, you hear they've got the edit is now done. It's locked. They're going to polish up the post-production on it now before they have a truly completed movie. What do you think about that? What stands out to you? And right now, where does your anticipation stand for The Flash?
Well, we know that they did some reshoots over the summer.
Right, which almost every superhero movie does.
And so when they say they've locked picture, one of the things that people don't understand on like a big effects movie is when they lock picture, a lot of the time, the shots that are actually locked, the cut, have no special effects in them.
Yes.
And you have to lock picture because every frame when you're doing effects work costs money.
Money.
So you've got to get those shots exactly down because every frame, I mean, literally you're 24 frames a second or whatever. So you can't just, we can cut a little bit here. That's not how it works. So there's still a lot of work to be done on the movie, first of all. But two, I mean, I think that, as you've said, John, and as I've heard the same thing from people have said uniformly that this movie's excellent. Maybe the best DCEU movie. And clearly you've got a director that the studio really likes, delivering on It 1 and 2, making some real money. And despite the Ezra Miller situation, the studio's really high on this movie, clearly. I mean, they've defended this film throughout the entire whole process.
They've defended its quality.
Yes, I'm talking about the movie.
Yeah, the movie, not Ezra Miller. Yes.
Not Ezra Miller, the movie. I'm going to be clear on that. So, look, I'm excited to see this movie. I think it's going to be good. I want it to be good. I want to see it. I think we're going to get something special. I definitely want to see Keaton coming back as Batman, and I want to see the Supergirl they have in this movie, too. I like her costume. I'm very curious to see. I love the Flashpoint storyline. Both the animated movie that the DC Animation made and the whole Flashpoint comic series I enjoyed. So everything about this movie for me is something I want to see to be good. And I want it to be great. And obviously the SFX pipeline problem has been an issue with this movie. And I think one of the reasons and many others. And I think the reason it got pushed back was not simply because of the Ezra Miller situation either. I think this is an effects heavy movie. I think it got pushed back. I think the reshoots allowed them to caress the film the way they needed to, not necessarily anything about Ezra Miller, but change things around, and they have enough time where they don't have to rush the effects. So I think we're going to get something special with this, at least fingers crossed. And, dude, you know what? We got Black Adam. If Black Adam's good, Shazam, Aquaman, and The Flash. That's a pretty good lineup of DC movies.
If they can end up being in the same neighborhood of quality as the first Shazam movie and the first Aquaman movie, this could be a nice run for DC.
Really nice run. Yeah. And I'm hoping it is. I mean, we saw Aquaman together. I was enchanted by the goofy really Aquaman. It was goofy, but I loved every minute of it.
And then when is Blue Beetle scheduled for?
And then Blue Beetle too. And apparently Warner Brothers is really big on it. Now listen, I can already hear people asking, and I get it. So let me just address the elephant in the room. Okay, John, you're saying you're excited for the movie. It's Andy Muschietti, but what about Ezra Miller? Like, if by putting this movie out, aren't you condoning the actions of Ezra Miller? No, time out. Hold on a second. Let me be very clear about this. This is not Ezra Miller's movie. This is Andy Muschietti's movie.
Right.
Ezra Miller did not write this movie. Ezra Miller did not produce this movie. Ezra Miller did not create the characters. Ezra Miller is a hired hand. In the same way that the costume designer who made the costume is a hired hand on a movie, Ezra Miller is just the guy who then takes that costume and puts it on. Ezra Miller is a hired hand in this movie. Now, look, I would have a problem if all the Ezra Miller drama was out and then they cast Ezra Miller. Then I would have a problem.
Yes.
That's a totally different thing. But it turns out that this movie that has thousands of people working on it, one of the hired hands, a very in the spotlight hired hand, but one of the hired hands that was hired before the filmmaker ever came on.
By the way, years earlier, by somebody else.
Turns out that hired hand may be a complete dick asshole. And okay, but what are we gonna do then with every movie that comes out? Again, I would feel very differently about this if they cast him today. If they cast Ezra Miller and they cast them today, that would be a different issue. But again, too many people look at this as this is Ezra Miller's film. It's not. Ezra is a hired hand on this movie. This is Andy Muschietti's film. And that's why when this movie's done, now listen, I will change my tune completely if after The Flash comes out and Warner Brothers does not part ways with Ezra, oh, I'll be singing a totally different song at that point. Believe you me. But they made this movie. The money's been invested. Apparently, Andy made a great movie. Turns out one of the 1,000 people hired hands on the film turns out to be a complete dick. Okay, so what do? And I just think that it's a matter of us as film fans to recalibrate how we look at the actors. It isn't their movie. They're hired on to come in and do a job just like the set designer, the costume designers, the lighting people, all that kind of stuff. They're hired to do a job. They come in, they do the job, and then they leave. And Ezra's very much in the spotlight, and I am no longer an Ezra Miller fan, although I have very much liked Ezra in the role. I've said that from the beginning. Yeah. I've always liked Ezra in the role, but Ezra should never be the Flash again after this. I have no doubt about that, but you don't punish Andy Muschietti because one of his hired hands turns out to be a dick. At least that's my take on it right now. Maybe I'll feel differently about it a year or 2 years from now, but right now that's just how I feel about it. Anyway, yeah.
I have a little bit more information on this. This was published by The Wrap since we've gone live. It says Ezra Miller returns to the Flash set for a day of pickup shots. This was last week. And then it says that The Wrap has also learned that Ezra and their agent met with Warner Brothers and had a very positive meeting about the future of the upcoming DC film.
So they're talking about the current film.
Yeah. Yes, the current film.
They're not talking about the future of Ezra Miller playing the Flash. Probably talking about how they're going to get, if they can get Ezra Miller to promote the film.
Right.
Which I don't believe they should. I think they need to keep Ezra 1,000 miles away from this film. I don't think they should let Ezra do any of the promotion for this movie. But that all being said, question is for you guys. What do you think about this now? They're saying that the edit is now locked on The Flash. Do you have excitement for it? Word is the movie's good, but maybe all the drama surrounding it has made you feel like, you know what? I just can't, we were talking about Rust the other day. And like, hey, Rust might be really good. I have to admit, though, everything that's happened with Rust is distracting me from the movie itself. Maybe all the Ezra stuff has done that for you. However you guys feel about it, jump down to the comment section below and leave your thoughts there. All right, guys. With that down, we're going to take another second here and thank another sponsor of today's show. I'm wearing them right now. Our friends at MeUndies. Guys, we want to take a second to thank the sponsor of this video, MeUndies. Now, guys, I admit for all my life, I have been a low quality underwear wearing kind of guy. I always just got the cheapest pack of underwear I could find because I never really thought about it. Well, that all changed when I started wearing MeUndies. They are simply the softest and most comfortable underwear I have ever owned, and I will never go back. And guys, spooky season is here, and so is the latest Halloween collection by MeUndies. Warning though, it's scary soft. MeUndies is back with a new limited edition prints like Jack Attack, No Body Like You, and Spell It Out. So go on and grab undies, socks, bralettes, and more made from their feels like you have nothing on micromodal fabric. And if you need a last minute costume, be lazy and transform into a spooky skeleton with their loungewear set, Lazy Bones. Guys, the scary soft hype is real. If you're not impressed with MeUndies, your first pair is on us. That's a promise. To get 20% off your first order and free standard shipping on US orders, go to MeUndies.com/Campea. That's MeUndies.com/Campea. And thank you to our friends at MeUndies for keeping my undercarriage so comfy and for being a sponsor of this episode of the John Campea Show. Remember, guys, when you support our sponsors, you're actually supporting us. So go on down into the description of this video, and right at the top of the description, you'll find links to all of our sponsors and the promo codes. Make sure you use those promo codes. And thank you again to MeUndies. Okay, guys, with that down, let's move into main topic number 4. Rob, what is our fourth main topic today?
Well, John, our fourth main topic comes to us from Max Murdoch. Hi, John and crew. Obviously, you can't go into spoilers, but what did you think of the penultimate episode of She-Hulk? Still not loving it, but hey, they used the Daredevil theme from the formerly on Netflix show. Anyways, thoughts? Bring on the filthy. This episode sure did.
Whoa. All right, guys. So listen, we no longer do the She-Hulk after show here because I just don't like She-Hulk, the show. It's just not funny to me. But we are going to discuss it here, and go ahead, Jonathan, and throw it up there. We're going to be doing this in a full, this is going to be a spoiler-filled quick review. We're not going to go long on this, but this is going to be a spoiler-filled quick thing since we no longer do a She-Hulk show. But, of course, I said I had tapped out of the show But I said, yeah, you know, when Daredevil's there, I'll obviously tune in. And Anne has been wanting me to watch a show with her anyway, but we just don't do the after show anymore. So the episode, the day has come. The long promised first appearance, like Matt Murdock may have popped up, but this was the first appearance of Daredevil in the MCU. And he has showed up. And I will say, I think it's the second best episode they've had. I still think the premiere, the series premiere was the best episode they did. But this was pretty good. This was pretty good. I'll give it its credit. I think it's pretty good. So, and I'll say this too, with a lot of people having been worried about how much are they going to change Matt Murdock? How much are they going to change Daredevil? You know, Rob, you and I were talking about this before the show started, but I felt like while this was clearly the lighter side of Matt, this was definitively Matt Murdock. Like it was very much true to the character of Matt Murdock that we had seen in the Netflix series. The lighter side of him, absolutely. But we saw that lighter side in the Netflix series as well. And so I felt it was there. The courtroom scene is the best courtroom scene they've had so far, where they actually start talking in legal terminology and making legitimate legal arguments and stuff like that. That I thought was a really good scene. By the way, now I can officially tell you guys. You guys remember that when I had those Spider-Man No Way Home pictures, I told you, I also had my hands on a couple of other pictures that I did not release. And I told you a while ago, once it became public that Matt Murdock was going to be in She-Hulk, I said, it turns out it was from the She-Hulk. And it was that scene, the picture I got about a year ago, was that scene in the courtroom where it was just, you saw Matt Murdock sitting at the one table, Charlie Cox sitting there with his client, and then you saw Tatiana Maslany in the motion capture suit sitting at the other table.
Yeah.
And you got to remember, when I first got that picture, because I got it with the Spider-Man photos, I had just assumed that was from Spider-Man No Way Home. And I'm like, oh my God. And then we saw Spider-Man No Way Home, realized that wasn't. It's like, oh my gosh, so that means this is coming in something else. Turns out it's She-Hulk, and that was a scene. So the year-long mystery is now out of the bag. That was the picture that I did not release, was the one that was in the courtroom. That being said, I thought it was really good. And I will tell you this, F everybody else. And I know I gave up on the show because it's not funny, but it's had a couple of very funny moments. I think the twerking scene, F everybody. I don't care. That twerking scene was fucking hilarious. I laughed my ass up at that scene. I still do. But Daredevil doing the walk of shame has got to be a close second. I audibly guffawed and laughed out loud when I saw him doing that walk in the morning, and I didn't even realize at first that he was carrying his shoes.
Oh, yeah.
And then when I realized he was carrying his shoes, I double guffawed, laughed out loud. And I had to pause it. I rewound it to watch it again. I thought that was hilarious. Listen, I thought the chemistry between Matt and Jen was really good. I like that for all those people who are always going, well, She-Hulk is just about making men look bad. Well, guess what? In this episode, a man came in the episode and said, you don't know what you're doing. I do. You're just destroying things. I've done this a lot of times. Follow my lead. Right? And he is the more experienced hero. He's clearly, she's not even taken on the responsibility of being a hero.
He outfought her.
And well, she did win the fight.
Well, I mean,
it did end up with him on his ass because she's a Hulk. She's a Hulk.
Of course.
I mean, what's he going to do? Hit her with his stick?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, there was that, but still, he outmaneuvered her.
Oh, my God, Jonathan.
Yeah.
Oh, my
Oh,
God.
my people. So, it was a really good appearance. And you know what? Good on Matt flying into LA, having a quick one-nighter and flying out of town.
That's the way it's done.
That's the way it's done, boy. And so he goes in and does that. I just legitimately, now the ending of the episode was terrible. I thought the ending of the episode was absolutely terrible. So we don't have to go there. But yeah, I thought this was a good episode. Listen, I'll give credit where it's due. This was a fine episode. And I think for people who have been worried about how Matt Murdock will be portrayed in the MCU, I honestly think this episode should put your mind at ease a little bit. I thought it was definitely. Now, as far as the music, there's that music hit that plays. That's from the Netflix series, right? I don't think that really means anything any more than in Ms. Marvel when they mention mutant and they play that means that the 1980s cartoon X-Men is what she's going to be a part of. Obviously it doesn't. It's just a familiar music note that they hit. It just makes it feel like you're home again, which is how they've used it before. So listen, this is a show we don't talk about much anymore, but the Daredevil appearance, I'm going to chalk it up as a win. I do. I still, at the end of the day, I think this show has been a disappointment because of its lack of being able to be funny, but give it its due. I thought this episode worked. How did you feel about it, Rob?
I really liked it too. Like you, was my second favorite episode of the show. My favorite thing in this episode was when Matt Murdock was talking to Jennifer about what she can do as a lawyer and as
Yes.
That was, again, it echoed a sentiment that we first heard said by Banner in the first episode.
Yep.
Like without you're obligated because you're a superhero to help the world. I mean, the way Murdoch put it, it's like, look,
you're uniquely positioned to do both.
Yes. And I love that.
How did he put it too? Like when society fails somebody,
law fails somebody.
When society fails somebody, you can use the law to help them. And when the law fails somebody, as the Hulk, you can help them.
That's right.
That was a great line.
It was great. And that's what Daredevil does.
Yeah.
So I liked, and I really liked their relationship. And I thought, it's very funny to me to say this, but the character of the clothier, he's tailor for the superheroes.
They're Edna Mode.
I wish that character wasn't so broadly played. He can still be funny, but I like that character. I like the idea, and I did like the fact that he's like, look, you walked in here and you've taken on a client. I mean, there was something really interesting, even though the character's so goofy, that she had to take up legal arms against him by testifying against somebody that she is working with, or who's making clothes for her. I really liked that. And I liked at the end that they were able to make it up. And I even the revelations, like, wait a minute, you put jet fuel in this? Like,
I like how he picked it out. He smelled it. What kind of fuel did you use?
That was great. That was great too. I loved how Matt Murdock was shown. Yeah, you're lying. He knew all that. It was great. But that all made sense, and that's what I wanted more of from the show. The reason I like this episode, John, it was exactly what I thought I was going to get.
Yeah, I thought that's exactly what I thought too. I thought that what we got in this episode, both the legal aspect of it, the heroing aspect of it, this is what I thought we were going to get 9 episodes of.
And the humor.
Yeah, and by the way, I'll throw this out there too, the best fourth wall breaking they've done in the series so far. Like when she's talking to Matt in the bar, and then she turns to us and goes, "It's not just me, right? Like you're feeling this too, right?" I was like, that was the best use of fourth wall breaking they've had in the series so far.
Yeah.
I think it was the best use of Jen. I think obviously they did a good job using Daredevil. The ribbit and rip it, the whole leapfrog, whatever the fuck that guy's name is, like that was so stupid.
It was so stupid. It was all, and that's the thing that
kick-ass
they could have done. They could have done this and made it more believable, but I just don't. It's goofy. That's where the tone. But I have to tell you, the funniest thing about that walk of shame.
And it was, I don't care what anybody says, that was brilliant.
No, it was brilliant. And when you really back it up and you think about it, what was he going to do? It's not like she's got extra men's clothes in her house. She didn't live with a guy. There's no reason. So Daredevil has, the only thing he has is his uniform. That's it. So what's he going to do? And the fact that he doesn't have a car, maybe he's going to call an Uber. It was funny, but it also wasn't too goofy to me. It was an issue of practicality, which made it even funnier.
When they get back to her place, it's like, how do you take this off?
All that was so great.
So listen, again, this is a show that at the end of the day, I think was a big missed opportunity. The overall show, I mean. But again, give credit where it's due. I thought they really did a good job with this. And take Daredevil's appearance out of it. If they just employed a lot of the principles that they applied in this episode,
yes,
and they had applied these principles in the rest of the series, they could have had something really, really fun.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, it's going to end up being a pretty disappointing show. For me, I'm sure many of you are still really enjoying it. If so, that is awesome. I'm not trying to change your mind. That's great. I'm going to end up being disappointed. But hey, give it where it's due. They did a pretty good job with the Daredevil thing there. Question is for you guys, and we can take the spoiler link down now. How did you guys feel about this episode of I almost said Daredevil. This episode of She-Hulk, I think it's the second best one they've done. Maybe the second good one they've done. However you guys feel about it, jump down to the comment section below and leave your thoughts there. All right, guys. With that down, we're going to move into main topic number 5. Now, before we do, I want to give this little bit of a preamble to it. This is a story that this morning I wrestled about whether or not we should cover it all. I was so conflicted about it. I even got on our community tab and asked our viewers, like, what do you think about this? Should we be talking about this? And blah, blah. And like 85% of our respondents, and we had hundreds of responses within minutes, told me like, yeah, this is, I've had many people say right in the live chat, I already saw this in 10 other places. So yeah, you might as well speak about it. So we're going to put the spoiler warning back up again, because in this story could contain some spoilers about the upcoming thing. Now, these are coming from reports that we cannot confirm ourselves. So we use the word rumor because as something that I cannot confirm myself, nor is this something that's coming from one of the major trades, the Hollywood Reporter, Variety, The Wrap, Deadline, what have you. We're stressing the word rumor. So whatever you saw in the headline, understand it's a rumor, but there could be some things that could be considered spoiler in the story. If you're really sensitive about that, maybe add this to your favorites list and come back in a month after Black Adam comes out. All right? Okay, here we go. For the longest time, the big question about Black Adam has been, what's the runtime? But after the runtime, which we have addressed earlier, no, really, the big question has always been, will Henry Cavill be in it as Superman? And we have done many stories about different reports and things like that that have come out here and there about whether he would be or not. And so, just recently, something happened that made it kind of look like he was going to be it again. We've talked ad nauseum about the relationship between Henry Cavill and Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, in almost every early social media post he did after he announced he was Black Adam, always had images of Black Adam and Superman together. They both have the same manager. Dwayne Johnson's ex-wife is both of their business managers. They've been very, very upfront about all that kind of stuff. So it was within that context that this question came in from one of our viewers. Rob, what question came in from our viewers?
Diego says, John, the day has finally come to rejoice. Reports are coming out of the Black Adam fan screening in Mexico that the rumors are true, that Henry Cavill will indeed reprise his role as Superman in the film. While it's reported that it is a small cameo, nevertheless, fans are absolutely hyped. As a longtime champion of Henry Cavill's portrayal of Superman, I can only imagine how excited you are. Does this prove that The Rock is the most influential figure in Hollywood right now? So much to unpack right now. Thanks, and bring on the filthy.
All right, man. Thanks a lot for sending that in. And let's go over, this is the basic gist of it here. Let's bring up that site right now, Jonathan. So basically, headlines going all over the place. Henry Cavill, reported return to Superman. So let's scroll down. So some of the more telling reports are basically saying this in some social media stuff. So let's keep going down. We'll get to some of those social media posts. So here we go. So one guy, right, Matt Ramos wrote, I love you, The Rock. I'm a fan forever in your service. This is actually after the screening. And then another verified Twitter person said, yes, Henry Cavill is back. He has the classic suit. By classic, we don't mean Christopher Reeve. We mean classic Henry Cavill suit.
Yeah.
He has the classic suit and the Williams score, the John Williams score. And he says, we need to talk Black Adam. Another source then, if we scroll down a little bit further, said Black Adam will be confronted by Amanda Waller. This is in the post-credit scenes. That Black Adam will be confronted by Amanda Waller and Superman in a post-credit scene. So there's that as well. Also, another one said that it is the classic costume, except that the colors are a bit brighter on the costume than they had been before. So that's what we got. That's the reports coming out of these advanced fan events that they've had down in there. Okay. Again, let's strongly emphasize here that this is not coming from the studio. This is not coming from the Hollywood Reporter. This is all over the place right now, but still keep that with a grain of salt. So there is the possibility that this is not true.
Have press already they've already seen screeners of this, right? The press?
I don't know that they have in North America.
I mean, this seems like a big risk to then just go to a fan thing where anyone can just tweet out what's in it.
Well, this is the stuff that's coming out.
And they knew it was going to happen.
And by the way, it's not the first time. This isn't the first time something like this has happened, right? So for the sake of this discussion, let's go on the assumption, just for the sake of the discussion, that it's true, okay? That Henry Cavill shows up in the post-credit scene. Well, there's a couple things. Number one, it would be completely consistent with everything we've heard so far, right? It would be consistent with the reports and rumors we've seen laid out over the past year. It would be consistent with the fact that The Rock has not really been very ambiguous about, the Black Adam's connection to Superman and all that kind of stuff. They even not long ago, he posted a picture of him and Henry Cavill sitting down together having a drink. Like, they've done all this kind of stuff. And then they specifically put in the last trailer, no one on this planet can stop me. It's like, okay, come on. Now you're just begging everybody to guess that Superman's in it. So if that's the case, and if that's real, yeah, damn right. And listen, because I don't care. Some people would say to me, John, but they're saying it's just a cameo. I don't give a shit. I don't care if Henry Cavill is in 5 seconds of this movie. I don't care if he's in 55 minutes of it. Because what it means is that Warner Brothers wants Henry Cavill as Superman. Even if he was in for 1 second in this movie, if true, but even if he's in it for 1 second, that means Henry Cavill still has the cape in the closet. Something he told us 2 years ago. I still got the cape in the closet. So just the fact that he even appears for a moment in the film would mean that David Zaslav, the whole time they've been saying, hey, yeah, we're very interested in Henry Cavill. We're big fans of Henry Cavill Superman, blah, blah, blah. It means that Henry Cavill is still our Superman. And if that's the case, then that's something I may even freaking drink alcohol, because that is our, aviation gin shot of the day right there, ladies and gentlemen, that he's back. Now, there's some controversy going around online a bit about the fact that they mentioned that when he appears, you hear John Williams music.
Yeah, that's weird.
No, it's not. It's really not. And I'll tell you why it's not weird. Because remember, if this is just a cameo, it's not like he's in the whole movie and whenever he's on screen, you hear, right? And I want to point out that in a previous DCEU movie, they play some tones. Remember?
They do.
They play a little bit of the John Williams
in Justice
theme.
League, when Danny Elfman did the Justice League score.
They give a little bit of that John Williams scene just because it brings you home a little bit. I would propose to you it's the exact same thing about when, I'll go back to Ms. Marvel again, when they said the word mutant and they just played little tunes. It's true. It wasn't them saying this is now his theme. Henry's theme is still the Man of Steel theme.
Yeah.
What are you going to do when you're not saving that? It's still Hans Zimmer's. I have no doubt that when he appears again in the DCU in a major way, it'll be Hans Zimmer's music. Sure. That I have no doubt. So if he's just popping up for a quick scene and you just hear bum, 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 come on. Energy will rip through everybody's bodies,
true,
right?
I'm right there with you.
They're not going to switch off it and make that, because that is Christopher Reeve's music, yes. But again, it's not like they haven't done it before. They've done it again, and it's just in a quick cameo. So if true, and I cannot emphasize this enough, if true, you got one fucking happy Italian sitting in front of you right now, my friend, because it means...
Aren't you that way every day, though?
Almost, but Henry will be back. And when would we see him again? I don't know. Whatever.
And I'll look. You know what's really funny about this, John? The reason that I have a Superman, Henry Cavill Superman, and a Hugh Jackman Wolverine figure
right here on yours,
is because months ago we were speculating that both of these characters would come back, and then we were let down. We had the air taken out of our sails.
When D23 happened.
With D23 and also
Comic-Con.
Comic-Con and no announcements.
And now here we are.
And there it sits.
Now, look. Again, going back to the whole grain of salt thing, there is, of course, a possibility this is a coordinated hoax.
Sure.
That all the different places that are saying, hey, yeah, coming out of this, Superman, Henry Cavill's in the post-credit scene, blah, 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 he's wearing this. Like, it could all be coordinated with a couple of people online to put this out there, and maybe it's fake.
It could be a Talican disinformation campaign.
A Talican disinformation. Damn you, Namor. Yeah, listen, it absolutely could be. And if so, all right, I'll be disappointed, whatever. But, I mean, if it's true. Anyway, Rob, You're hearing this story, understanding that we don't know that this is true. We can't verify. At this point, it still has to be listed under rumor. But if it is true, how do you feel about it? And what stands out to you?
I love it. I mean, look, we both love Man of Steel.
Yes, we do.
I love Henry Cavill as Superman. I think it was ridiculous that we never got They should have made after Man of Steel, because he was not Superman yet, to make a Superman movie. There's never been just a movie called Superman. It was always something else. It was Superman the movie. So why we never got Superman with Henry Cavill, I will never understand. I mean, I don't understand it. But maybe now we can.
Maybe.
I know under David Zaslav, why wouldn't you? And bringing him back in this film makes perfect sense to me. And I'm sure, look, the great thing, if this is true, it's because Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson made it so. He organized the whole thing. Because that's what he wanted. And, you know, he's the kind of guy, if somebody, you know, coming from his wrestling background, who do you want to see Black Adam fight? I'm sure the first thing he said, I, Dwayne Johnson, want him to fight Superman. That was probably in his mind. I mean, there's probably nobody better positioned in Hollywood to have made this happen.
And again, let's look back a little bit too. Let's go back about a month or two ago. DC's League of Super Pets comes out, right? And what's the post-credit scene on DC's League of Super Pets? Superman is standing there, and then floating down out of the sky behind him is Dwayne Johnson's Black Adam, talking to Superman, saying, "Superman." Superman turns around, "Black Adam." I mean, like they have been. What's the word I'm looking for? When when you can see it coming, they put it out there, telegraphing. They've been telegraphing this, right? They've totally been telegraphing this, that this is coming. So I believe it's what the people want. And listen, if it's real, I believe this. I think 10 days. 10 days, because how far are we out from the Black Adam thing right now?
It's 2 weeks. It's the 21st of
So it's the
October.
21st, right? So we're
2 weeks and a
about
day.
2 weeks out. Okay. I'm going to say this. I think by October 14th, so maybe 8 days from now, I believe a new TV spot comes out and we see Henry Cavill on it. Because you want to sell a lot more tickets. It's not going to be like Spider-Man and showing Peter and Andrew that's selling all the tickets. Not a lot. It's not like that. But it will sell a bunch of extra tickets that they wouldn't have sold otherwise.
I'll even go even further. If this movie comes out and this movie is good, that people like it, and it makes a lot of money, they're going to announce Black Adam versus Superman.
You got to get Shazam in there at some point too. Though,
Maybe,
right?
but that's what they're setting up,
Right.
Because who wouldn't want to see that? And like, we might not get another Superman movie, although that's what I would do.
Okay,
I would
'cause
make a
guess what?
Superman movie and lead into that, because
Guess what the new Warner Brothers administration has done? They threw out the other Superman thing with J.J. Abrams that they were working on.
yes,
Right? So
tossed
there,
it.
there seems to be some room on a dance card for a Superman movie.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, and who else? I mean, from a studio perspective, from a business perspective, just this is all wild speculation at this point.
Wow.
Dwayne Johnson's still one of the biggest, if not the biggest, movie star in the world.
I think he's the last truly bankable movie star.
Well, yeah, and if this comes out, he's kept this movie alive for the better part of 2 decades,
Single-handedly.
decade and a half. You know, and why wouldn't he? Because the biggest problem with the Superman movie, and having covered the behind the scenes on one, the biggest problem with the Superman movie is, who does he fight?
Yes.
Who does he fight? And unless you're is it Mongol from Warworld? I mean, what are you gonna do? There you got it. You've got it can't be Zod again. This is tailor made to give you the best villain to fight the biggest, movie star in the world. Who isn't going to go see that movie?
And listen,
if Black Adam is good.
The other reason I'm saying about the commercial idea is because the former Warner Brothers administration, they went in when the theatrical version of Justice League was coming out. They decided we won't put Superman in the trailers. And they kept Superman out of all the marketing, and they did not have the opening weekend they wanted. And all of a sudden, all the marketing changed after opening weekend, and suddenly Superman was in it. I don't know. Again, I don't know that they're going to start putting Superman in the marketing.
Right, of course.
I don't know that. This is just me guessing and speculating. Let's be really clear. Could be right, could be wrong. But I kind of feel like they wouldn't want to make that same mistake. because the old regime at Warner Brothers made that mistake and it bit them in the ass. So I don't know. We'll see. Listen,
I mean,
I am allowing my fanboy to more take control here than my objective professional. No, I am strictly fanboying out here. I admit it.
But the new administration and David Zaslav has come out and said, we're not going to put Warner Brothers on the chopping block. We're going to make movies.
Not for sale.
And what he's thinking about, what do we have in our arsenal that's big? You know, since the merger happened, they got a Batman movie come out and do well. I'm sure the first thing he's going to think is, and finding a new Superman's rough. It's hard to do that. Henry Cavill's the perfect Superman. He's the perfect guy already. You've already got him. You already have him in the DCEU, and they've got Amanda Waller in this movie. So clearly you've got a Shazam movie, you've got an Aquaman movie, you've got a Flash movie. They're all DCEU movies. So this idea that they have to start from scratch is ridiculous. They have a bunch of movies that already work. You already can jumpstart it. You put Superman out in a movie with Black Adam? Come on.
Again, listen, we know if this is even true, it's just a post-credit scene, but it's what that means. And that's what's exciting here.
The Black Adam movie has to be good, though.
That's the problem, right? Because if the Black Adam movie's like winning cures everything, losing accentuates everything. If this movie's not good, it's for nothing. You're right, it has to be good.
And if you think about it, you brought up Shazam, you could even have battle lines drawn. You've got Black Adam and Shazam and the Marvel family versus the Justice Society, Justice League, if you wanted to go that route.
Well, that's making a lot of assumptions about what's going to happen in Black Adam.
Totally. And that makes us, but you
think they're setting up a civil war?
The Marvel family, why not?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I love the Marvel family. I love Earth S, you know, where the Marvel family lived. I would love, and there's a team right there.
All right, guys. Question is for you. What do you think about all this? And again, listen, we got to repeat it again. It's got to be put out there. All this conversation may be for naught because this could be misinformation. It absolutely could be based on misinformation. That's why we use the word rumor, and it may be for nothing. But if it is real,
Superman versus Black Adam, the Magic Wars, because his vulnerability is magic. And you have the wizard, you've got Shazam, I'm telling you.
Who says his vulnerability is magic? When is
well,
that?
we don't know that. We don't know that
right.
yet. But they're going to
introduce may not be his vulnerability in the movies.
The Magic Wars. You got the Shazam. You could bring Jaimin Hansu back.
What if you do Black Adam versus Shazam versus Superman? What if you put two V's in there? Black Adam v Superman v Shazam.
I'm telling you, Black Adam versus Superman, the Magic Wars. I'd make that movie.
Listen,
call me Warner.
If you could make a movie and call it Birds of Prey and the Fabulous Emancipation of One Harley Quinn, then Black Adam versus Superman versus Shazam is not too much. You can do it. I'm not saying they will, though. Again, just fanboying out here. What do you guys think about all this? Whatever your thoughts are, jump down to the comment section below and leave those thoughts there. All right, guys, I am sure we're going to continue this conversation on as we get into the super chats. I'm sure many of you are already getting ready to write in about this whole thing. So we'll pick up this conversation again in just a minute after we hear, because we are opening up the super chats now, guys. You only got a couple of minutes to send them in. Then we got to close the super chats down. But we're going to take a second here and thank another sponsor of our show, my cell phone service provider, the good folks over at Mint Mobile. Hey guys, we want to thank the sponsor of today's episode, Mint Mobile. Mint Mobile offers premium wireless starting at just $15 a month. And now for the plot twist. I'm just kidding, there isn't one. Seriously, Mint Mobile just has premium wireless service from $15 a month. There's no trapping you into a 2-year contract or opening the bill to find these crazy fees. There's no luring you in with free subscriptions to streaming services that you'll forget to cancel and be charged full price for. I used to dread opening my phone bill every month because every time I was opening it, it was like playing roulette. I never knew what the actual price was going to be, and it always seemed to get higher. But not with Mint Mobile. Mint Mobile gives you the best rate whether you're buying for one or a family, and at Mint, families start at 2 lines. All plans come with unlimited talk and text, plus high-speed data delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. And if you're worried about the complication of switching things over, don't. Use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and keep your phone number along with all your existing contacts. So guys, get premium wireless from just $15 a month and no unexpected plot twists at mintmobile.com/Campea. That's mintmobile.com/Campea. Seriously, you'll make your wallet very happy at mintmobile.com/Campea. And thank you to Ryan Reynolds and our friends at Mint Mobile for sponsoring this episode of the John Campea Show. Okay, guys, we are now, for those of you who are our beloved channel members and you sent in some of your monthly channel chats, we are gathering those up, and Rob is actually going to do, for our channel members only, answering all those chats that you, our channel members, sent in today and yesterday, and he's going to make that video this afternoon. That'll be up exclusively for our channel members a little bit later today. For now, we are going to get over to the super chats, and have you emailed that thing to me yet, Taylor?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Let me check my sent.
To my actual email, or
To your actual email. It says sent.
okay, well, I'll have to sit here and wait for it, I think. Oh, wait a minute, there it is. It's come in. Okay, I'm taking a look at something here, guys. Hold up, because Taylor found something, and now I am taking an extra kind of look at it, and there might be something there. Okay, here's the problem. I don't think Superman wears gloves. Unless people are saying there's a Superman logo on this. Ooh, whoa, Hey, Rob, come over here. Okay, so Taylor sent this to me. So just to give you a sense, this is a Brazilian. I'm sorry, you guys. You know what, Jonathan, bring this up on screen so people know what we're talking
I
about.
emailed it to you as well, Jonathan.
So here's the thing, and I gotta bring this up again. So apparently, this is from a Brazilian theater company, right? And some people think that down here we have that's either like Superman's glove, or that could be a Superman symbol there. What do you think? I think it's iffy.
Yeah, it's on screen there.
Of the theater chain themselves. Let's all go.
Because you look at the shape of the.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Okay, I'm gonna call it inconclusive. I'm gonna say no. I'm not. I'm gonna say, so. What we're looking at is down on the Coca-Cola cup. It kind of looks like a Superman logo, but I think I'm seeing what I want to see.
Yeah, the thing
I'll
is,
be straight. I'm going to call it inconclusive because I think I'm just seeing what I want to see.
if they use a Superman logo, the logo has to look a certain way because it's a trademark. So it would have to be very recognizable as a Superman logo.
It depends, unless this version of the logo is also indicative of something that happens in the movie. I mean, again, I don't know.
Could be.
Again, I think my eyes are just seeing what my Henry Cavill fanboy eyes want to see. So I'm gonna draw it as being inconclusive, but it's interesting. Okay, let's get over to the super chats. Rob, what do we got in there?
Well, we've got Zach Marcello says, not throwing shade at Rings of Power, as I really enjoy the show also, but I couldn't help notice the contrast between Andor and Rings of Power when catching up on both. That's one of two. Zach goes on to say, shows yesterday. Catching up on both shows yesterday. The convos in Andor provide so much insight and depth, while the convos in Rings of Power often feel like people talking just for talking's sake.
I would agree on. I would 100% agree on that on the earlier episodes of Rings of Power. I have found that the dialogue, the conversations, the cadence of the scenes themselves over the past few episodes have vastly improved. Is the Andor one better? I'll tell you straight up, that the newest episode of Andor is one of the best episodes of TV I've seen in a bit. It was just, there was like, again, I said before yesterday, Rob, every time you watch an episode of television, you're hoping for one or two moments that make you go, oh, that was so good. This had 6 or 7 or 8 in a half-hour episode. 6 or 7 or 8 episodes of, oh my God, that line was so good, right? So the Andor dialogue, I think, was better, but I think it's better than just about anything that's out there, including House of the Dragon. But as far as the dialogue in Rings of Power, I agree on the earlier episodes 100%, but I think it has improved markedly. I really do.
But I think Andor is still smoking it. Even
I think
in
Andor's
terms
smoking
of,
everything.
Yeah.
That's the thing. So it's almost an unfair comparison, because I said on yesterday, I actually think Andor is better than House of the Dragon right now. Now, whether I still feel that after both the seasons are done, I don't know, but Andor's smoking everything.
Even Dank Nugs.
What did them tank nugs? All right, what's next?
Amin says, enjoyed Daredevil in the episode, but I have to say the yellow and red suit did not work, in my opinion. It looked goofy and cheap.
It's a comic kind of accurate.
Yeah, it's a throwback. But you know what? I didn't think it entirely worked either, especially because if it would glint off the light differently. The all red would allow him to blend it better, I think.
Yeah. Hey, let me address this quick here. Jay Master sent in a member chat, and I had some people write this to me, and I read the actual thing, and I think something is being blown way out of proportion. So Jay Master writes in, the official Marvel website has indicated that Daredevil and She-Hulk is quote unquote very much the same version of the Netflix show. That is, let me be very clear. That is not what the Marvel.com article says. I mean, you've worded it that way, but that is not what it says. It does not say that the Daredevil and She-Hulk is very much the same version from the Netflix show. That's not what it says. It basically says it all depends on semantics. So on Marvel.com, there's an article about the new episode of She-Hulk. And by the way, how many times have we on this show, Rob, talked about something that was written on Marvel.com that later turned out to be walked back, not true, not real, like almost half a dozen times in the past 6 months. That being said, the Marvel.com article says that, you know, Jen meets Matt that we very much know and love, right? And I get it. You can read that and interpret it. You know how I just said I'm looking at that logo? I said I'm looking at it through my fanboy eyes.
Yeah.
I'm seeing what I want to see. If you remember back when Charlie Cox came out and said, this is a new thing. This like he goes, I don't know 100%, but I think this is a totally brand new thing. This is not season 4 of Daredevil, season 1. And I told everybody that while that makes it appear that this is not the same Daredevil from Netflix, I said it's a matter of semantics. It does not prove that it's not the same Daredevil from Netflix. I would say that about the same thing because I ran over and read the Marvel.com article. I'm like, this is not anything definitive. This is like saying to all the audience, to me, it read more like the response to the audience is being worried. This is going to be nothing like our Daredevil. And then writing it, it's like, this is the Matt Murdock you know and love. It does not say this is the same Matt Murdock from the Netflix series, right? So I think a lot of people are interpreting it the way they want to interpret it. So I would caution that the same way I said that Charlie Cox's statements should not be taken as being 100% proof that the Netflix thing is no longer canon. I would say the opposite here, that this statement should definitely not be taken as any kind of proof that it is the Netflix canon. So just, it's all semantics in the way it's worded. Taylor, you had something to throw in there?
I have some unrelated breaking news from Deadline regarding Glass Onion, if you would like to hear about it. In a rare deal, AMC, Regal, and Cinemark have all agreed to release the Netflix title this Thanksgiving.
Wow.
So it says for the first time, all 3 big exhibitors are on board with releasing a major Netflix title, that being the Rian Johnson directed sequel Glass Onion, A Knives Out Mystery.
All right, well, we'll cover that on the show tomorrow.
Yeah,
because
that's pretty big
I'm
news.
gonna have to go into the details. What is theatrical window? What was Netflix commitment to? How much of a marketing budget they're going to give it? We'll go into that on tomorrow. But that's a really interesting bit.
Really
All right,
I'll use my A-list for it.
I'll use my English for it. All right, what's next?
Mr. Graham 91 says, "Oh, sweet baby Jesus. Cavill's return, Jackman's return. My loins are tingling on so many levels."
Yes. Now, unfortunately, unlike the Hugh Jackman return, which is 100% official, this is, you still temper your expectations. You have to still qualify this under the rumor category. And if it is true, I have a feeling they're going to put it in their marketing soon. I think within about a week of the show, of the movie coming out. All right, what's next?
What is next is A. Marcellus says, "Call me crazy, but I predict that Phase 5 and 6 will share 2 major villains, Kang and Doctor Doom. With the Wakanda rumors about Doom and Avengers 5 and 6 months apart, I think it leads to a Kang and Doom finale."
Okay, but remember, at this point, Doom being in Black Panther is still speculation.
Yes.
That's total spec. We have had no confirmed or even unconfirmed solid information that he's even in there. Maybe he is. I told you, I'm getting won over to that. I had not believed it before. I am being won over to it, but still got to keep in mind so let's not talk about how he's going to be used in the next 2 phases when we don't even know if he's there yet or not. So it's just something to keep in mind.
I mean, you know, Secret Wars, he does play a big part.
Well, in the actual Secret Wars story, he plays a major part.
So, you know, hey.
All right, what's next?
And he can be introduced in movies after this one. He doesn't even have to be in Black Panther.
Absolutely.
Al Renshaw says, new Rockstar's Easter eggs video of Black Panther 2 trailer points out person in the corner in costume when Namor is in the lab and uses his spear. Definitely going to be multiple Black Panthers.
Yeah, and you know what? I think that's the image that you thought was the same person.
Yeah.
Right? To me, that was clearly Namor in the foreground when you look at the jewelry and all that kind of stuff. I don't know how that image makes it clear that there are multiple. Now, I believe there are going to be multiple.
Yeah.
But I don't know that that's proof that my theory is right. But I'm not even sure it gives any credence to it one way or the other. But yeah, we'll find out. It's coming soon. All right.
Exciting nonetheless.
Very exciting.
Prady Iyer says, when playing over under, during the time John takes to read the question twice, people in the live chat are sending in the answers, and Ray always takes a super quick glance at the live chat right before he gives his answers.
All right, now let me tell you why that actually can't happen. Because I understand that to you watching, you think the moment I'm saying something is the moment you're hearing it. But watch this. Okay, so I just clap my hands. By the time you heard it, it actually for us happened 15 to 20 seconds ago. Is when it actually happened.
How dare this person?
Dare you?
This in?
Well, I mean, I think the evidence that you beat me twice in a row proves that you must be cheating.
Oh my God! And you're gonna roll this, Rob?
Yeah, no. There is. For those of you who do not know, while this show is live, there is, even at its fastest rate, there is a delay. That's why a lot of times you'll see me go, "Hey guys in the live chat, if you know the answer, just throw it in there." And then you hear me say it, and you're like, boom, boom, 2 seconds after you hear me say you got in there, but it's like 15 to 20, sometimes 25 seconds before I see your answer because there is a bit of a delay.
This is the first time I'm actually really offended.
No, wait a minute. I mean,
I'm opening an investigation.
It's a question, but by the way, give me Rob's wide shot. By the way, what's in front of Rob right now?
Spoilers.
A laptop. So he could have just as easily been reading off the chat. But the reality again is that I read the question. By the time I say thumbs up, I think that's just when you guys are getting the question at home. So no, there's no shenanigans here. Ray isn't reading answers or anything like that. And by the way, you guys at home don't know the answers off the top. When people start firing the answers, it's a mix of over, under, over, under, over, under. So he wouldn't be able to get anything from that anyway. All right. What's next?
Lying liars gotta lie.
It's a fair question,
Okay,
though.
Rob.
It's a fair question.
Now you're
it's
gonna-
a fair question. All right, what's next?
It's okay, Ray. I trust you. I trust you to do the right thing.
What a game to cheat on.
A. Marcellus says, I'm a little lost on the Black Adam timeline. Seems to imply that the Justice Society and the Justice League are existing at the same time. We don't know that yet.
Well, that's why somebody, if you guys remember one of our Mint Mobile hotline questions, somebody was asking, wait a minute, does this Black Adam happen in another reality, in another multiverse? Because where's this Justice Society been this whole time? Like, we've never even heard of them in the DCEU. So I get it. That's a fair question to ask. That is something they're going to have to explain in this movie. It's like, did this Justice Society just get formed? Is Amanda Waller the one who formed them? I kind of feel like Amanda Waller is the one who formed the team. So I don't know. A lot of answers yet to come, though. All right, what's next?
For the Magic Wars.
There are moments where they show
Magic
show Earth, and it just doesn't look quite the same. I will say that.
I think it's a possibility. So we'll see. They'll give us some answers in Black Adam. All right, what's next?
Hoops Suni says, I started Yellowstone and I'm hoping to catch up before season 5 and join your after show. I must watch 1.03 episodes a day on average to catch up in time.
I mean, hey, listen, I am not a fan of the modern trend of having like 8, 9, 10 episode seasons. I like 20 plus episodes.
Yeah,
seasons.
me too.
I just do. But one of the advantages of such short seasons is that it doesn't take nearly as long to get caught up if you want to get caught up. So yeah, man, you got a great journey ahead of you, my friend. I hope you enjoy it. All right, what's next?
Michael Serta says, there's a decent villain monologue somewhere in your Komodo dragon analogy.
Oh yeah, so actually you could do that, right? That was a good analogy.
It was pretty good.
It? Yeah.
I liked it.
The Komodo bites the bull, and the bull will die days later. The Komodo's just got to follow it slower, and that's what's happened to Regal, unfortunately. By the way, there's a story we haven't touched on yet because I need to do some more research on it. But you remember Regal and Cineworld were going to buy the Canadian big theater chain Cinemark?
Yeah.
Apparently
Cineplex Odeon.
Cineplex. Cineplex may be taking over Regal. Now, Cineplex has apparently approached Regal's debtors in talk of maybe merging,
Wow.
getting it away from Cineworld and merging Regal into Cineplex. I got to do more research on it. I'm not going to pretend that I have in-depth knowledge on the situation. I don't, but I just thought it was interesting.
It's interesting because when I was growing up, we used to have General Cinemas, and they were bought by Cineplex Odeon. So I spent a lot of my youth going to Cineplex Odeon cinemas.
Yep, they used to have some in the States. All right, what's next?
Love Daggerborn. Is Daggerborn? Do you think we'll ever see the Silmarillion or Unfinished Stories as a film trilogy or series?
For a long time, they said that the story of the Silmarils was unfilmable. I still believe that. I don't believe you can make a coherent, flowing, cadenced narrative of the Silmarillion. I just don't think it can. The way it's written, I don't think you could do it in such a way, Rob, that would make people happy.
I think you might be right about that. And if they did, they would have to make up a lot of stuff.
Yeah. Oh no, it would have to be heavily adapted.
Yeah, and that's look at the response that's generated just for Rings of Power.
Yeah, for some people, I agree. All right, what's next?
HV3 says, I'm all caught up with Welcome to Wrexham. I love it. Do you think there'll be a season 2?
I am not caught up. Ann and I are a couple episodes behind. I'm loving this show.
I've only seen 2 episodes and I loved them.
It just gets better. I mean, you find yourself falling in love with these people, with this community. You find yourself, these are replays of games that happened a year ago, and I find myself on the edge of my seat cheering. It's fantastically done, just beautifully done. All right, what's next?
Ulatan says, there's another mask without the white dots in one of the official movie posters. Also, M'Baku is seen in the trailer wearing black.
Again, it all goes to my belief that could be totally wrong. I'm not backed up with any factual information, that I believe that we are going to get multiple people don the suit. And I think that them pushing the notion, because the toy leak, don't forget, came out, that Shuri is the new Black Panther, period, end stop. I have a feeling that might be a bit of misdirection. We will see Nakia. By the way, listen, if you want a female Black Panther, Nakia's the one who should be it. Nakia or Okoye. I mean, so anyway, yeah. Well, I could go off on that for another 20 minutes. All right, what's next?
Gone with the Cheddar says, there's a new Daredevil short film going around. It's hard to find because it's labeled as She-Hulk. I see what you did there. I kind of felt that way myself. I mean, I really enjoyed seeing Daredevil. That it did feel like there's a new Daredevil film going around and it's labeled as She-Hulk. But you know what? We got Matt Murdock back. I mean, I thought it was great. Charlie Cox, look, if you really think about what's going on in the Marvel universe, we have J. Jonah Jameson, who came back from the Raimi movies. You had Ralph Bohner, Quicksilver, Evan Peters coming back from the X-Men films. Now you got Hugh Jackman coming back from the X-Men movies. You had Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield coming back. Now we have Vincent D'Onofrio and Charlie Cox coming over from Daredevil. Maybe I'll stand by my theory that what we have been seeing, everything in Phase 4 has been various aspects of the multiverse. And we haven't actually been watching 616, Earth 616. Could be crazy. I don't know. But all this stuff, they're going to have to tell us what's going on. So I don't know exactly what's going on, but hey, I'm there for that. Sure, why not? A Daredevil movie that is labeled as She-Hulk. I'm right there with you. So yeah, what's next? Jay Master says, breaking from The Hollywood Reporter. This is interesting. Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes casts Jessica Jones actor Eka Darville. Fun fact, Eka Darville was the RPM Red Ranger in Power Rangers RPM. It was the final Disney-produced series. Well, that makes sense. I mean, look, here's the thing about studios. Studios have casting directors that they go to and use a lot. There was a very famous casting director at Warner Brothers named Marion Doherty, who was there for decades. And studios tend to cast the same people in various projects. So that makes sense. This gentleman has been cast in. He was in the last Power Rangers that Disney produced. He is now.
Wasn't he? Isn't this from Jessica Jones?
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
both are. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, and they were both produced by Disney. But he's now in Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes.
Oh, good for. I liked. I'm not a big fan of the Jessica Jones series.
I am much,
but
more
I
than
really
you.
liked him.
Yeah,
I
he was
really
great.
liked him in it. Yeah,
really good. So yeah, that's really cool.
Okay, I like that.
Breaking news, according to our viewer.
All right, next up.
Raymond Verada says, I'm surprised how Superman the movie still holds up. There are still people discovering it only now, like Coy Jandrew. Guys, before you give your top 10 superhero films lists, always watch Superman the movie.
Hey, listen, to be fair to Coy and anybody else, there's a lot of movies. There are a lot of movies. Now, I don't know how old Coy is off the top of my head, but I got a feeling that movie probably came out before he was born.
It did come out before he was born.
So, I mean, and is it one of those films that you absolutely, if you're a comic book movie fan, that you absolutely should have in your repertoire? Absolutely. But there are a lot of movies out there. So I think you need to cut some people some slack on that.
John, if you're 30 years old today, you were born in 1992. Superman the movie came out in 1978.
Yeah.
That's a long time.
I was 5 years old.
And if you became a movie fan, let's say you're born in 92, you were 8 in 2000. The MCU started 8 years later. So you saw X-Men, Bryan Singer's X-Men, when you were 8 years old.
I mean, I only saw Annie Hall like for the first time maybe 12 or 13 years ago.
Yeah.
Right? It's considered by some to be a top 3 greatest comedy of all time.
And if you're 30, X-Men was your childhood favorite movie. Then you got to see Spider-Man and X-Men 2, and then the MCU. Why, then, would you ever go back and watch a superhero movie from 1978?
Yeah, again, listen, I get it. It's one of the foundations of the superhero genre, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, but just, again, cut some people some slack, man. It's a lot of movies.
I mean, I would say this. For me, Superman the movie was a life-changing experience, but I was a little kid, comparatively
at the time,
speaking.
It made you believe a man could fly.
It really did. And the first 30 minutes of that movie is incredible.
All right, what's next?
Glenn Mark says, so I'm working on a board game called Tea Time. And one of the rules is teapot makes high tea.
I see what you're doing there.
Yeah. Okay.
I see what you did there.
I'll
All
buy
right,
that.
what's next?
Clever. I like to read those rules. Jasmine Jones says, Kiki Palmer now has her own network coming called Key TV. Also, fans have been fan casting her as Rogue for X-Men. And she said, come on, agent.
Well, of course, she would love that role. Listen, I liked her in Nope.
Yeah.
I liked her in that actually very much. She does a game show now with Jimmy Fallon called Password. It's a remake of the old game show.
Right. It's Jimmy Fallon.
She is a fabulous game show host.
She's a great host in general.
She has personality coming out of her teeth. I mean, she is great. I'd totally be down for her as a Rogue, but honestly, they need somebody a bit younger.
I think so too.
I think the biggest striker against her for that is that they need somebody a bit younger. All right, what's next?
Amin says, when do you think we'll get a new Avatar 2 trailer? Soon. I'll bet we get one before Wakanda Forever.
I think we get one before the end of the week.
Really?
Yeah.
The end of the week's in 2 days. Tomorrow.
Sorry, let me rephrase. The end of this coming week.
Oh, okay.
So I think by next Friday, I think we're going to have one.
All right.
I don't know that. That's not any information. But remember last time I said, hey, guys, I think we're going to get one by...
I mean, it makes sense.
And we did. We got the Black Panther one.
Black Panther's in November, so that could be too late. We need a full-on, brand new, full-blown Avatar. I mean, coming off the heels of Avatar being in theaters with that Avatar 2
It's only
trailer.
2 months away.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, and let's not forget, there has already been a trailer. There is an Avatar 2 trailer. We're talking about a second trailer.
Yeah.
But I think by the end of next week.
The trailer we had is a teaser trailer. We know nothing of the story.
But it was
nothing of the
great.
plot. It was great.
Yeah.
No, it was great.
All right, what's next?
We saw that at
do-
CinemaCon.
We got to do Stubble here. We skipped
Stubble McShave says Ben Barnes could be a good fit for a new Bond.
Ben Barnes would be great in anything.
Yeah.
I honestly, I went on about this once. I'll say it again. Ben Barnes is a bona fide superstar. He's got the look. He's a tremendously gifted performer. He can do just about any genre you can throw at him. This guy should be a major A-list star in just about anything. Why he's not featured and not in more stuff is completely beyond me, because he is money. He has a dramatic presence about him on film. He can be a villain in a superhero movie. He can be high fantasy like he's in Netflix right now. He can do serious drama. He can do comedy. I think the guy is just absolutely money.
I'm with you 100%.
All right, what's next?
Sugar Pop says, what do you think of the theory that Marvel based the villains of She-Hulk on the real-life trolls who have harassed Brie Larson for the last 3 years? I mean, the similarities are uncanny.
It's not so much anything specific, but I think Marvel, listen, half of She-Hulk is trolling the trolls. It's specifically but it's not anything about just Brie Larson. It's the basic online, suck baby community that's out there. And yeah, they are savagely. By the way, Harley Quinn has gone after that too, like pretty savage. So yeah, it's gone after pretty savagely.
But there are online trolls for any fan community. Sports.
Exactly. Yep.
So,
Sports, music, shoes, video games. I mean, it all has it. Absolutely.
Even action figures.
Yep.
The action figure
Even
community
over
has
under
turned
game.
vicious.
Even over game.
Yeah,
Trolls for the over.
Right, you're being accused
questioning
of
Ray
questionable
Aura's,
behavior.
I am offended.
Ray Aura's integrity.
Well, when there's smoke, there's fire, Ray. That's all I'm saying.
All right, what's next?
Corey Hensley says, today's She-Hulk was the strongest since the first.
I agree.
We both agree. Proof Marvel is at its best when it sticks to character interactions, action, and occasional humor.
Oh, they loaded this episode with humor. Make no mistake. The problem is not humor, especially since this is supposed to be a comedy. The problem is humor that's not funny.
Right.
And that, to me, that has been the singular weakness of She-Hulk, is that it's just, look, if you're making me laugh, everything else is perfect. But your comedy is not funny. Man Bull? Oh, stinky. He took off his mask and it was smelly. It's like, come on, it's just not funny.
Well, also, all of these minor superheroes that they're creating are absurdly idiotic and dumb.
That's my thing. Like they should have just if it was going to be a comedy, focus on things like Frogman, Stiltman, Paste Pot Pete. Take from what Marvel has created these stupid characters and then use those in court cases or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, Manbull, you can't take that seriously. You're already at a disadvantage.
All right, what's next?
Jay says, can Judge Dredd defeat RoboCop? Yes.
Dang.
No.
Yes.
No.
Judge Dredd can outthink RoboCop.
What?
You can say Daredevil can outthink She-Hulk. It doesn't matter. She's a Hulk. I mean, I
Judge Dredd would send his lawmaster right into RoboCop.
I'd pay to see it, but I don't think he can take out RoboCop. All right, what's next?
Going RoboCop.
I'm going to go fight that battle at home with my action figures. Al Renshaw says, if they announce a Black Adam versus Superman movie with Shazam, I will have to wear my scented brown pants.
Laugh
out loud.
Hey, listen,
Scented
you know what?
brown pants. Okay.
Here's the thing. You won't, to Rob's point, you won't feel that way if Black Adam isn't good.
Yeah, Black Adam has to be great.
It's got to be great.
It's got to be great.
Winning cures everything. If you make Black Adam great, then all of a sudden everybody will be buzzing about that.
Yeah.
Everyone will buzz about that. If not, no one's going to be talking about it. All right, what's next?
It's true. Fifi says, hey, John and crew.
Oh, by the way, send in like a $50 super chat.
Thank
Thank you,
amazing.
Fifi, so much for supporting us on that level.
That's incredible. What a nice thing that Fifi has done for us. Hey, John and crew, just watched the Lord of the Rings and Hobbit movies for the first time.
Nice.
I then started Rings of Power, and I don't know why, I just don't like it.
Oh.
It feels like they're just trying to recreate the original trilogy.
I've heard a lot of criticism about Rings of Power. That's never been one of them.
Yeah.
You know what, though? I have to tell you something. Having just watched, remember I told you 2 days ago I fell down that Lord of the Rings rabbit hole and watched, I worked on the DVDs and saw those movies a million times, but I hadn't seen it in a while. Just clicked on Fellowship. That movie is so charming. And it's so, you're 10 minutes in after the Galadriel opening and then all the way through the Shire. I was entranced. I got sucked in again. That is such a beautifully done movie. And every element is
Nominated for Best Picture at the Academy Awards.
I mean, you cannot, all the way up through my 11th birthday. I mean, everything about that movie is just sublime.
I would propose this, though, too. If I were to go to Gordon Ramsay's house and he prepared for me his ultimate signature dish, his beef Wellington, and I were to sit down.
Is that really his signature dish?
That's his signature dish, is his beef Wellington. And I have had it, and it's phenomenal. But were I to do that and then immediately go to McDonald's and eat something at McDonald's, I may like McDonald's well enough, from time to time.
McDonald's is bomb. What are you talking about?
Ray and Ann, McDonald's
That's
is
the
bomb.
Gordon Ramsay right there, baby.
But you're gonna go like the instant comparison. I would say this: if you watch Lord of the Rings and then go into watching Rings of Power, it's not a fair fight. It's just not a fair fight. And listen, I agree. Rings of Power, I almost ditched on it after the first episode. I agree that I think the show started badly.
They had a lot more money to make Rings of Power, though.
Yeah, but also economics of scale have changed at the same time.
Still,
Because a lot of that money was just spent on getting the rights.
No, it's true.
I forgot that too. But so it is what it is. The show has gotten better. I think that pretty much everybody agrees it's gotten better. It's now just starting in its 5th and 6th episodes. It's now finally starting to look like the show I had been looking forward to and I've been wanting to see. And it's finally turning into that. But yeah, at the beginning, and yeah, listen, if you try to take it and compare it to some of the greatest films ever made in history,
But not The Hobbit.
it's not, except notwithstanding The Hobbit, then it's not going to be a very fair comparison. So I'd say hold up in there.
Well, one of the things I didn't expect was them to match the scale of the wars in the movies, which is what I loved the most. It was like, it looked like all of like our continent against another continent. Do you think, and that's my problem with what it is right now, do you think it will ever get to that?
Well, yeah.
Where we get the bigger wars? Because right
It
now it
will
just
lead.
seems like it's just small
Well, but
battles.
because it's just the formation of the
Yeah.
conflicts right now.
You're only
right?
seeing
Like,
villagers
right now,
fight.
It's just all character work they're doing right now.
But do you think we'll get to
Yes.
that? Do you
I
think
do.
the money will be
Yes.
there?
Yeah.
And those, okay.
The money
Yeah,
is there.
I mean, ultimately, true. We know they're building up to a battle that was bigger than anything done in Lord of the Rings with the Battle of the Rings. Like
really?
that's what
Yeah.
the show is building up to.
That
Anyway.
final
But we're not going to
battle.
get that this year.
no.
Oh,
That's the culmination.
That's the
end.
culmination.
5 seasons?
Yeah. No, it is.
All right, what's next?
Jeez.
Seconds from
Oh,
disasters.
by the way, just one more time. Thank you so much for saying that and supporting us on that level. That's incredibly generous of you. So thank you so much for that. All right, what's next?
Seconds from Disaster says, if Werewolf by Night is a success, do you think Disney will use Disney Plus to release more of the obscure, self-contained standalone stories? I do.
I hope so.
Me too.
I mean, listen, I've been waiting for Marvel to have the balls to tell some self-contained stories. And after watching The Batman, it just made me wish they would do it more. After watching The Joker, it made me wish Marvel would do it more. And with the good response we're hearing from Werewolf by Night, which I have been skeptical about. I admit I've been skeptical about Werewolf by Night, but all the responses we're seeing have been really, really positive. So I'm hoping that if it does work well, that they will be willing to say, you know what? Not everything has to be directly connected into our wider universe. Let's try some self-contained stories and let some talented storytellers have complete creative freedom to tell whatever story they want. Nothing but good can come out of that.
Totally agree.
So tonight we finally get to watch it. All right, what's next?
You get Pinhead and Werewolf by Night. Woohoo! James Argenta says, I hope it turns out that the intelligentsia are pawns of a bigger bad like the leader who used them to get Hulk blood, setting up Cap 4.
I don't think, listen, I could be totally wrong about this. I have no knowledge. I just don't see them using a silly, lighthearted Disney Plus comedy like She-Hulk to set up Captain America 4. I don't
Let
see
me
them
just
doing it.
say, Secret
But they could.
Invasion. Secret Invasion's teeing up Captain America 4.
Does Secret Invasion come out before Captain America 4?
Yeah, Secret Invasion shot.
Okay, see, that would make more sense. Now, again, they totally could do that with She-Hulk. I just have a hard time imagining them do. I don't know, Rob, what do you think? Could they be using She-Hulk to set up Captain America?
I don't think so, because when you see, it's really interesting. And I've only read the scripts, but the tone of Secret Invasion is diametrically opposed to She-Hulk. And there's some big doings going on in that show. And I can't wait for it. And if they pull it off, it'll be by far my favorite Marvel series.
Okay, again, though, I gotta admit, in the world of Marvel, anything is possible.
Yeah, anything's
Let's
possible.
find out. All right, what's next?
Darth Ciano says, Rob, a theory I have for the Stranger in Rings of Power is that he could be Tom Bombadil.
Yeah?
Too far or possible reality? Also, why does Luthen in Andor have a Sith and Jedi holocron?
That is one of those things that is an Easter egg that we're meant to notice and go, aha! Well, like, you know, what's that Leonardo DiCaprio meme that's going around from when he's in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, where he leans forward and points? That's supposed to get that reaction out of it. We're not supposed to analyze it, I don't think. You know what? We haven't considered Tom Bombadil. I don't think it is, but I mean that's not a bad theory.
I mean, it's not a bad. I don't think it is either. But I just think that this show wouldn't even be dealing with those kinds of things because you need some star power. They want Gandalf. They want maybe it's Saruman, and they want Sauron. I mean, Tom Bombadil is no one's clamoring for Tom Bombadil.
Well,
or are they?
But it's me something. You're right, not the majority.
Yeah.
All right, what's next?
Jasmine Jones says, did you know there's a Beauty and the Beast special coming December 15th, starring singer-musician Her, who's black and half Filipina, and Martin Short?
Yes. I will tell you, though, I do not give two squirts of urine about these TV live special things. I think they did one for Peter Pan. They did one for... I don't...
Does Martin Short play the Beast?
I probably not. He's probably like Lemure or something like that. But I don't care about them. I don't watch them. So I mean, it's kind of... But I did hear about that, and good on them.
Yeah.
Isn't she dating Taika Waititi now? Or is that Rita
that's
Ora?
Rita Ora.
That's Rita Ora. Okay, so another Ora. All right, what's next?
Gotta scroll down. Talking Entertainment with Josie says, last time I checked, Lyle is at 69%. He on Rotten Tomatoes. This will probably be the Paddington of crocodile movies.
No.
We need more crocodile representation.
No. Paddington is like a very highly rated film. This is no. Fuck that crocodile. And by the way, I haven't seen it.
Wow.
For all I know, it's wonderful. For all I know,
Could be good.
It might be. I absolutely. Hey, listen. Even at 69, even at 69, that means the majority of the people who are watching it are liking it, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, it doesn't look like it's a movie for me, but it could be. I didn't think Paddington.
Taylor's going to see it, right?
I am going to see it.
You better do an out of
multiple
theater
times.
reaction video.
Listen, I'm telling you, me and John Schnepp went to go see strictly because we were obligated and we had to go see it. So we went to this early screening of Paddington. Neither of us expected anything out of it. And we came out of that theater going, well, holy shit. If that is not one of the most charming, delightful films we've ever seen. And listen, I'm telling you what, if Paddington 3, people think I'm joking, and I am not. If Paddington 3 is roughly on par with Paddington's 1 and 2, you are talking about a new entrant in the conversation of greatest trilogy of all time. Not saying it's the greatest trilogy of all time, but I'm saying once you start having that conversation, you start bringing in some names. That's going to have to be one of the names. Because despite what anybody thinks, these two movies are both brilliant, wonderful filmmaking. And that is one thing that the Nick Cage, the unbearable weight of massive talent, absolutely has right in that movie, is that Paddington 2 is one of the great films. And Paddington 1 is delightful, and I'm really hoping it's going to be great. Anyway, all right, what's next?
Alex Von Gollum sends in a super chat and says, so when Rhaenyra said twice to Daemon, if you want to take me, do it now, she partially meant it, huh? She's always had real feelings for him. Wondering if she does love him or she just wants the throne. She's from the time that she was a kid. They have a bond.
Oh, yeah, they've had a bond a long time. And by the way, you ask that as if the two things are mutually exclusive. Both are true.
Yeah.
She wants Daemon, and she also wants what a marriage to Daemon brings her. So yeah, I don't think it's an either or question. It's a both and. I think both are true.
And also, the Targaryens have a long history of intermarriages within their families. So,
well, hell, Alicent has betrothed her son to her daughter.
Yes.
I mean, them Targaryens, man. All right, what's next?
Rastafarian Targaryen. James Wheeler says, hello, everyone. John, I know you mentioned Father of the Bride.
Love it.
Have any of you seen the original with Spencer Tracy? I love that movie.
Very long time ago. I saw it a very, very, very long time ago.
I've never seen that
barely
version.
remember it, to be honest with you. But the Steve Martin one is almost a perfect movie. It's just so wonderful. Like when you watch, it just makes you smile. You feel warm. It's charming. It's everything. You know what? It's everything that represents what was good about that era of films. It really does. And it's disturbing that you look at Steve Martin and he barely looks like he's aged much at all since that movie came out. Despite the fact that Kieran Culkin was like this tall and a child. And now he's like a best leading actor nominee in the Emmys for Succession. So absolutely nuts. All right, what's next?
Suthius says, if the new Mario movie has a Bowser in the style of 1993's Dennis Hopper portrayal, I will throw chairs.
Remember, it's not a live action film.
Yeah, and I don't think that he's going to look like that.
No.
Even if it was a new
back in the
live
time,
action film,
they
he's not gonna
couldn't
look
do
like that.
Bowser back in the day. You couldn't do Bowser.
No.
So, but this is animated, I'm sure, and especially if you saw the poster, he's going to look like. But by the way, a new trailer comes out any minute now.
Yep.
So I'm sure we're going
waiting
to
for
talk
it.
about that on tomorrow's show. But yeah, we'll find out for sure. All right, what's next?
Stubble McShave says, on Ezra, actors work the least amount of time on a film. That's true.
Well, I mean, they certainly work. They're on set probably less than almost anybody else in the crew.
Yep. Because the
They-
crew's there for 12 hours.
They hang out in their trailer. Okay, we're ready for your shot. They come in.
Yep.
But, sometimes they got to be in makeup for a long time or whatever. And sure, there's that.
And remember, crews are in prep before a movie starts shooting, so the
Yeah.
actors aren't even there.
a lot of people work on a film for months or a year or two before the actor ever steps foot one day. I mean, again, I just take issue with people, but I get it. People think of movies and they think, well, the actors. Ezra Miller is a hired hand on this movie. This is not Ezra Miller's movie. This is Andy Muschietti's movie.
And he did reshoots. Andy Muschietti's been working on this film for the last year.
Yeah.
Every day since they wrapped shooting.
Uh-huh.
And he's still working on it. And we'll be working on it until a few months before it gets released.
Or until it gets released at this point. All
And
right,
then he
what's
goes
next?
on a press tour. Jay Master says, it's game day.
Game day.
Werewolf by Night drops tonight on Disney Plus. Also, will there be a Werewolf by Night after show tomorrow?
No, there won't be. We have our Rings of Power after show tomorrow, and we simply do not have the time to run two. But we will definitely be reviewing it
On the show.
on the show tomorrow. We'll definitely be reviewing it. All right, what's next?
Just
Timothy Ross sends in a super chat.
And guys, that'll do it for today's installment of the John Campea Show. Thank you so much for being here, making the show part of your day. Big special thank you to all you guys who sent in those super chats. Number one, because you gave us great fun things to talk about. But number two, you supported our channel as you did it. And from all of us involved with the show, thank you guys so much for your support. So for everybody in the room, Mr. Robert Meyer Burnett, the currently under performance enhancing tactics techniques of Ray Aura, the guy running the show today, Jonathan Voico, and off in the corner there, we have no camera for him right now, but of course, my assistant, Taylor,
Goodbye.
and from myself, John Campea. Thank you so much for being here, guys. We'll see you again tomorrow. And until then, my friends, bye-bye.